Some Royals have carried a heavy stick on this homestand. Alex Gordon is hitting .370. Eric Hosmer is hitting .400 with 7 RBIs. Billy Butler is batting .400, and Jeff Francoeur has 6 RBIs. Will the rest of the lineup pick up their end of the stick? Royals baseball is next on Fox Sports Kansas City. In a relief appearance and a start, Felipe Paulino has pitched 9 1/3 scoreless innings since joining the Royals. Tonight he takes the mound against the slugging Toronto Blue Jays. Hi everyone, welcome back to Kauffman Stadium with Royals Hall of Famer Frank White. I'm Ryan Lefevre. And the Royals were looking forward to this homestand. It's their longest homestand of the year. The Royals have been playing very well at home. They took 2 out of 3 against the Angels to begin the homestand, and then 0-4 against the Minnesota Twins.
0-4 mainly because of offense. The offense just really hasn't stepped up. The runners in scoring position average is way down, and if you don't score runs, you're not going to win ball games.
And the Royals have been scoring runs late. That was a trademark early in the season, but in the 4-game series against the Twins, no runs scored from innings 7, 8, 9. However, as strange as it may sound, the Royals have several hot bats in the lineup.
Well, some of those hot bats, you got Alex Gordon, you got Eric Hosmer, and Billy Butler. And what the Royals lineup needs to do is give these guys an opportunity to swing the bat with runners on base.
And the Royals will be facing a couple of pitchers in the first 2 games of the series that are not pitching well at the moment. Brandon Morrow tonight, good arm, but only 2 wins in his last 8 starts. And one of the real up-and-comers in the American League, Kyle Drabeck, has just 1 win in his last 7 starts. But 2 power arms, and the Blue Jays represent power at the plate. Leading the major leagues in home runs last year, and leading the way was Jose Bautista with a career-high 54. He's on a similar pace this year, and we'll talk more about him when we come back. Royals baseball is brought to you by the Missouri Lottery. When you play, students win. Big story last year, Frank, Jose Bautista. He never had more than 16 home runs in a major league season, and then he hits 54.
Well, Ryan, I tell you, whatever mechanical adjustment he made, a lot of hitters will want to know what that is, and they can turn their careers around like he has. This is probably one of the best players in the game that nobody knows. A good power all fields, and also is a great defensive player.
Here's their lineup tonight, the Blue Jays, and they're dangerous in the middle with Bautista and Adam Lynn, who hit 2 home runs yesterday. But the top of the order really has been setting the table. Veteran Corey Patterson, his average is way up, as is shortstop Yunel Escobar. Royals hoping that Felipe Paulino pitches tonight like he did against the Angels.
Well, Paulino really pitches well. He makes good use of his fastball in and out. But to me, the thing that makes him good is his breaking ball. That's the pitches he's getting his strikeouts with.
Got a couple of big double plays in that game against the Angels. In 2 games with the Royals, he has pitched out of the bullpen. He has made a start, 9 1/3 innings, only 5 hits, no walks. And the Rangers and Angels hitting 156 against him. 3 hits for Billy Butler yesterday, 10 on the homestand. He's got his batting average up to .305. He'll take that to the plate against Brandon Morrow and the Jays tonight. And the first pitch is next. Brought to you by Time Warner Cable. Get no fee HD with digital TV from Time Warner Cable. Let's go out to right field and check in with Joe Goldberg.
Well, Ryan, first 7 o'clock start since last Friday. Had a chance to talk to Jeff Francoeur. Warm day, that means the sun as well. And really, the sun looking up there, it kind of changes by the second. To the side of the lights, behind the lights, and then back again. And remember, Jeff Francoeur lost the ball in the sun last week. He said what he learned on these longer summer nights is that playing in the outfield early in the game down the line can really be a problem because then you're looking right towards that sun. So you'll see him more in the gap, work his way back to the line if he needs to so he can shade himself that way because he never saw that one ball that dropped last week. All he heard was the ball land, and he looked up and he saw Chris Getz laughing at him because he never saw it. Doesn't want that to happen again, guys.
Can't catch what you don't see. And that's been the case for the Rangers and the Angels against Felipe Paulino. You can't hit what you can't see.
He's done a great job, Ryan, coming in here. And the most impressive thing about Felipe Paulino to me is the command of his breaking ball. A lot of times you find guys that don't command him as well as he does. And he's been able to use his fastball for, I guess you would call it an effect pitch to make his breaking ball a lot better.
Junel Escobar, former teammate in Cuba and best friend of Brian Pena, having a good year with the Blue Jays, his first full season in Toronto. Traded from the Braves to the Blue Jays last year, and he's after the first pitch. Didn't swing at a strike. Paulino will take it. One pitch, one away. So 5 scoreless innings on Wednesday against the Angels. And now game 1 of 4 with the Toronto Blue Jays tonight. Defensively for the Royals, Gordon, Cabrera, Francoeur in the outfield. Aviles at third, Escobar at short, Getz at second, Hosmer at first, and Trainer behind the plate. 2 of the best shortstops in the American League will be here, both named Escobar. And now Corey Patterson batting at .292. And Paulino throws a strike. First round pick of the Cubs in 1998, and at one time was not just the Cubs' best prospect, but believed to be the best prospect in the game, and never quite gave the Cubs what they were hoping for. Bounced around the past several years, and maybe has found a home in Toronto.
Well, the Blue Jays like him, especially in left field. In center field, they said he had some trouble, but since he's moved to left field, he's been a much better player.
Francoeur tested right away and makes the catch. No trouble with the sun there, and 2 down in the first inning. So here's the former Royal for a brief time, Jose Bautista, and as he comes to the plate, we'll take a look at tonight's league leaders, brought to you by your Kansas City area Toyota dealers. He leads the league in batting average. More on that in a moment. Leads the league in home runs, on base percentage, slugging percentage, runs scored, on and on. 13 games with the Royals in 2004. The interesting thing about his batting average is that in the history of the game, only 11 hitters have led the league in home runs one year and then won a batting title the next year. Good slider, and the count is 1-2.
Yeah, the one change he made last year is that he made sure to get that front foot down early so he can recognize what he's swinging at. And I think that's an adjustment that if a lot of hitters made it, they would love to have the success that he's had.
First time Paulino has faced the Blue Jays. He has faced hitters that are now playing for the Blue Jays, and it's the first 3 that he sees tonight. The other 6 will be facing him for the first time. He gets a ground ball to third from Bautista, and a 1-2-3 top of the first. degrees. We started right on time at 7:10. And the time and temp is brought to you by the parking spot. Easy to spot, easy to park. The parking spot at KCI. Royals lineup tonight: Alex Gordon, Melky Cabrera, Eric Hosmer, who has a 7-game hitting streak, 7 RBIs in the homestand. Jeff Francoeur, Billy Butler, Mike Aviles, and Chris Getz, Matt Trainer, and Alcides Escobar to face hard-throwing right-hander Brandon Morrow.
Not really having his best year, Ryan. His ERA's up this year at 5.11, and I think the one thing that hits per innings, almost a hit per inning too. So the Royals can look to get on base. They just got to put those hits together tonight.
Alex Gordon has been on base 14 times during this homestand, and he has scored 5 times, batting at .286. And a fastball is high and away. Still leading the league with 18 doubles. To the left side, Nix first came in. Now he backs off as Escobar comes over from short. 1 down. And now the Blue Jays defensively, they have committed 40 errors in 59 games. That's the 3rd highest total in the American League. Escobar against Escobar. We'll watch that in the 4-game series. 2 of the best shortstops in the league. Brandon Morrow. On the day of the draft today, he was a first-round pick of the Mariners back in 2006 out of the University of California. And if you haven't heard, the Royals did take Bubba Starling of Gardner Edgerton in the first round today with the 5th overall pick. Now, I've only been here 13 years, Frank, but I don't remember so much hype surrounding a high school baseball player as there was for Bubba Starling this year.
I have to give it to you, Ryan. That was a first for me too.
2 balls, 1 strike on Melky. Four-game hitting streak for Melky Cabrera, and it is 3-1. Well, you're going to get some power from Brandon Morrow, and he'll run it up there in the mid to upper 90s when he's on. So a lot of strikeouts, but he also gives up quite a few walks, and there's his first. So Melky down to first with 1 out. Morrow walks about 1 hitter every 2 innings. So Eric Hosmer with a 7-game hitting streak, 12 hits against the Angels and the Twins during this homestand. That includes a home run and 7 RBIs. And the fastball is high and away. Batting right at .400 during the streak, and that has his overall batting average right at .300.
Fastball command, that with any pitcher, regardless of how good your stuff is, if you don't have fastball command, it's going to be a tough night for your defense, and there's going to be a lot of deep counts, and it's going to be a slow night. So the sooner you get that command of that fastball, the better the other stuff's going to be. He's got good pitchers to follow it, even if fastball's good. But if you're not going to throw it for strikes, it's going to be a long night for you.
It's coming up a tough start too, maybe his worst of the year. Faced the Indians on Tuesday, gave up 6 earned runs in 5 innings. That's a season high for Morrow. One ball, 1 strike. Brandon Morrow started the season on the disabled list. Problems with his right forearm, so this is just his 9th start of the year. One and 2. Alex Gordon, a first-round pick in the lineup. Eric Hosmer, a first-round pick. Billy Butler, a first-round pick. So they remember this day very well. Sitting at home, hearing that they would be taken in the first round, but you never know until you get the phone call. And Eric Hosmer, a high school player, only took him 3 years to get to the big leagues.
Well, if you can draft out of high school and they get here that quick, then that's a talented player. And that's a guy that you know is a hitter right from the start.
Billy Butler, a high school player, only took him 3 years to get to the big leagues. Hosmer chased one up and out of the strike zone. So with one out, a walk and a strikeout. And there are 2 down. Remember all those no-hitters last year? Well, we almost had 2 more. There was the Armando Galarraga, the perfect game that wasn't because of the blown call at first. Well, Brandon Morrow almost threw a no-hitter. He went 8 2/3 against the Tampa Bay Rays.
Well, he's got that kind of stuff. I mean, he's got the moving fastball, he's got the quick breaker on the slider, and he's got a good changeup. It's just a matter of, is it going to be that day when it all comes together for him?
Jeff Francoeur, 3 RBIs in the Minnesota series and 6 during the homestand. Laid off the high fastball, 2-0. It was August 8th. Brandon Morrow and the Blue Jays hosting Tampa Bay with 2 outs in the 9th inning. All he had to do is get Evan Longoria for a no-hitter, and Longoria hit a ground ball base hit into right field. Cabrera runs, Francoeur swings and misses, and Melky is in with his 7th stolen base.
Melky didn't get a great jump. He really went a little bit too late on him. He made up a lot of ground. He took a quick peek in, and Aaron Sevilla didn't even come up from his stance. He just threw from down on his knees and made a nice throw. But when you see a catcher do that, in his mind, he doesn't have much of a chance if he stands up.
Two balls and 1 strike on Francoeur. Two and 2.
That's one thing we saw a lot of in the Minnesota series. A lot of good pitches down the middle to foul balls, and then we saw a lot of pop-ups. A lot of guys went squaring the ball up, and you're kind of seeing this today so far in this game. There's fastballs right there that you normally hit, and you foul them off. And then earlier in the Angel series, they were squaring those balls up pretty good.
Now Melky goes to third, and Francoeur fouls it away.
You know, I'm not really a big proponent of stealing third base with 2 outs, especially if you got a guy at the plate that can drive the ball. I mean, he's down to his last strike, and all of a sudden he's concentrating on the pitcher. You take off, and a certain amount of his attention has to see you when you break, and it kind of hurts his concentration at the plate too.
Slicing towards right center. Rajai Davis makes the play, and that's the inning. No score at the end of 1. Royals baseball is brought to you by AT&T, the fastest mobile broadband network, by Panera Bread. Order online at PaneraKansas.com, and by Chevy. See your Kansas City area Chevy dealers. The Frank White statue out in right field, sweating like the rest of us. Oh boy. Adam Lynn leads off. Blue Jays designated hitter, came back from the disabled list 3 days ago. He had been out for almost a month because of a bad back and hit 2 home runs at Baltimore yesterday, and he drives this one all the way to the warning track in left center field. One away in the second inning.
Must be a nice win up there. I didn't think he hit the ball that well. It just got up in that little jet stream and just kept going and going.
That's where the flags are pointed. And you must keep the ball down against the Blue Jays. They led the major leagues last year with 257 home runs. That was 46 more home runs than the next closest team. So you really can't say there was a next closest team. Now the former Angel, Juan Rivera. And he gets it into the air in left center. And again, it's Melky to run it down, 2 away. The Blue Jays this year are 3rd in the league in home runs, so still one of the best, but not running away with it like they did last year. But they have a lot more balance in their lineup. They are also 3rd in the league in stolen bases. They were dead last in that department in 2010. J.P. Arancibia. First round pick of the Blue Jays in 07 at the University of Tennessee, where he was a teammate of Lou Cochavers. One ball, one strike. At the beginning of the homestand, we saw Mark Trumbo, and he was leading the league in rookie home runs. Well, J.P. Arancibia leads the league in rookie RBIs, 12 more than Eric Hosmer. Of course, he's been with the Jays all year. Another quick inning for Paulino. He's thrown only 16 pitches. The breakout seasons, and in our Sprint You Call It question for tonight, what was the most surprising home run season in the last 20 years? Bautista never had more than 16, then he hits 54. Barry Bonds' previous best was 49 the year before he hit 73. Luis Gonzalez 31, then 57, and then Brady Anderson had that 50 home run season. His previous best was 21. Associate producer Al Broughton with the exhaustive research. Two balls and no strikes on Billy Butler. So send in your text tonight. You'll get a bounce back text message from Sprint with information on how you can win a suite for a game here at Kauffman Stadium. You can bring your 11 best friends. The research also includes what they did the following year, at least for Gonzalez and Anderson. 28 home runs after he hit 57. And for Brady Anderson, the best season he had after hitting 50 was 24.
I know Bautista's turnaround last year was pretty amazing in itself, and it's one that you never saw coming. Brady Anderson, his sticks out in my mind more because he went from 14 to 50, and then that's a big jump, and it just got everybody's attention when that happened. Where Bautista also got everybody's attention, but really not like it did back in those days.
Brady Anderson also had a ballpark tailored to his game at Camden Yards with the shallow right field. Billy strikes out with a knee buckling slider, and that's Morrow's second. This and every Wednesday is Inc. Student Night and Local Music Showcase. You'll get a $7 game ticket, free game happy hour specials, and enjoy one of KC's best bands. This week it's music from the Grizzly Hand before the Royals take on the Jays at 7:10. Gates open at 6 o'clock. Ball one to Mike Aviles. Having a tough homestand, just 1 out of 13, and 0 for his last 12. Two and 0.
Yeah, I talked to Mike before the game tonight, and he basically said he couldn't understand why he wasn't squaring pitches up. He was getting balls to hit, but he's just not squaring them up, fouling off his best pitches, and then when you do that, then you're going to chase something bad out of the zone.
Outside, so Morrow has fallen behind 3-0 on the last two hitters. He came back to strike out Butler. And now 2 walks to go with 2 strikeouts. He is averaging more than a strikeout per inning, and we told you about a walk every 2 innings. So 1 on 1 out, and now Chris Getz. And Morrow has had a lot of difficulty throwing strikes to Chris Getz. They've hooked up 3 times before tonight, and Getz has walked all 3 times. Down and away, ball 1, and now Aaron Sebia will go to the mound. Coming up tonight after the postgame show, we will re-air our tribute to our friend and Royals great Paul Splittorff. It's a 1-hour show that celebrates Split's life and career. So we hope you'll watch that. That's tonight after Royals Live. One of Split's least favorite names was Juan Encarnacion. And when he would say it, it sounded like somebody trying to start a cold car. Just rrr, 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 rrr. He got caught somewhere in the middle of the car and the nah part. So producer Kevin Shank, who worked with Split more than anybody, wondered how much fun he would have tackling JP Arancibia. 2 balls, 1 strike. Aviles runs and fouls it away. At that time, Bob Davis was his regular television partner, and I think there was at least a gentleman's agreement. There might have been a formal handshake that anytime Juan Encarnacion came to the plate, that it was BD's responsibility to say that name.
I think it's depending on how fast you want to say it. When Keeler was here, you know, I knew I would always have a hard time saying his name the right way. So since I managed him in the minor leagues, I thought it would be appropriate that I just use Keeler.
It helps when he's on your team. The Blue Jays can just call him JP. Well, maybe the Royals will get back to the running game tonight. 2 stolen bases in 2 innings against Aaron Sebia and Brandon Morrow. Of course, power pitchers usually take a while to get to the plate. It is 3 balls and 2 strikes on Getz.
But he tried to hit and run, but the fastball was running high and away, and Chris couldn't get on top of it. So the next is a straight steal.
On the ground to the right side, Aaron Hill takes care of Getz, and Aviles goes to third. So anyway, we tell those stories. Hope to put a smile on your face. It puts a smile on our face. I think about some of the times when Split allowed us to have a laugh or 12 at his expense. And we encourage you to watch the tribute to Split after Boulevard Royals Live tonight. Matt Trainer, 2 out of 10, but 4 walks during this homestand. So batting at .212, but his on base percentage is almost .360. Without knowing the answer to this, I got to think that's got to rank up there with anybody in the league. The biggest differential between batting average and on base percentage. He has the 2nd highest on base percentage with the Royals. But remember, he's hitting .212. Billy Butler is hitting over .300. One ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, 22 walks. That'll take you a lot in that direction.
He strikes out. Morrow has 3, and at the end of 2, we have no score. by Thoroughbred Ford. Find the new Ford you're looking for at thoroughbredford.com. And by Steel. Are you ready for a Steel? And by Panera Bread Catering. Order online at PaneraKansas.com. Six up, six down against Felipe Paulino. So Aaron Hill, Rajai Davis, Jason Nix in the third inning. At the knees, strike one on Aaron Hill.
Yeah, just straight downhill, right at the knees.
Popped up on a breaking ball, and Melky Cabrera comes in from center field. So Paulino has retired the first seven. In the Astros organization, he was a starter, but when he was traded to the Rockies, they wanted him to pitch out of the bullpen, and they wanted him to be a short reliever. So you go from conditioning yourself to pitch 6, 7, maybe 8 innings to, for the most part, Paulino was going an inning here or there, and he was happy to give it a shot, but at the same time, he's a guy that throws 4 or 5 pitches, so he's used to having some time to establish his pitches, go through the batting order 2 or 3 times, and admitted that he was just having some difficulty figuring out what to go with in a kind of a short burst of just 1 inning, maybe facing 3 or 4 hitters.
Well, I think he's probably looking at what happens when I get behind in the count, when he gets down 2 balls, no strikes, and 3-1. What pitch do I go with? And if he hadn't established his breaking ball, his off-speed pitches, I can see where he would run into trouble.
Tough play. Look at that. Well, there's the shortstop in Felipe Paulino. That's what he was signed as by the Astros in 01.
I mean, for a big guy, look how he gets off this mound. He barehands this ball and just wheels and makes a strike throw to Hosmer at first base. You won't see a pitcher make this move very often. I mean, this is outstanding play.
And it looked like Aviles was calling for it. And Paulino said, hey, man, this is my ball.
I think Mike was just lucky he didn't get in his way. He might have lost that battle.
Two down to Jason Nix. That fastball is just a little bit inside.
Kind of think back to a bunt play. I think it may have been Ibar, and Paulino got off the mound and kind of took his time and threw it to first, and he beat it. There was no hesitation in this play at all.
There's a little bit of luck and a lot of skill on a play like that. You have to have a feel for where you are on the field, but for the most part, that was a blind throw to first base.
I think he thought he was shortstop going in the hole.
That's right. Popped up.
I think he'll catch this one too.
Avila says, not this time. 9 up, 9 down. Pete Monks exemplifies giving back to the community by supporting several area organizations, including Veronica's Voice, Derek Thomas Academy, and Christmas in October. A long history of supporting children. He has served as a teacher and administrator for more than 35 years in public and charter schools. Pete Monks in the Buck O'Neill legacy seat tonight. Alcides Escobar, then the top of the order, Alex Gordon, Melky Cabrera. A little bit inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Escobar fighting to stay above 200. 2 out of 25 during the homestand, and at one point 0 for 21. Hit hard, handled by Nix at third base, who was playing in. So a nice play, and 1 down. Tonight is a carsoup.com email the booth night. So go to carsoup.com/Royals. Once you're there, you'll be asked for your zip code. Fill that in. You'll be sent to a different page. Then submit your question. Waiting on the other side is Joel Goldberg. He will pass along appropriate questions to read on the air tonight. Ball 1 on Alex Gordon, popped out to short in the first inning.
Yeah, chased the fastball up a little bit last inning and got under it. We saw a lot of pop-ups in the last series with the Twins. So just maybe Ross hitters hit too many borderline pitches up.
Two and 1. Brandon Morrow came up through the Mariners organization after being taken in the first round in 06, but they saw him as a reliever and then traded to Toronto before last year, and the Blue Jays put him in the rotation. Brandon League going from the Blue Jays to the Mariners in that deal. 3 balls, 1 strike on Alex. 26 starts last year, 10 wins. Almost threw that no-hitter against the Rays. That was a 17 strikeout game. So he's got that inside of him. Shallow center field. And it's Davis to make the play off to his left side. 2 down. Blue Jays are about middle of the pack when it comes to pitching, but man, think about some of the arms that they've lost over the past 3 years. They have lost since the end of the 2008 season A.J. Burnett, Roy Halladay, and Sean Markham.
3 quality starters there. 1, 2, 3.
Ball 1 on Melky. But you expect that their pitching will improve. John Farrell, who is a great pitching coach with the Boston Red Sox, now in his first year as manager of the Blue Jays. 1-1 on Melky. There are very few major league managers that are former pitchers.
And that's true. And I think it's not a bad thing, because I think they can really help the pitching coach. What's the name of the game anyway? It's pitching. And what's the toughest thing for managers to do is handle the pitching staff. So if a pitching coach that was a former pitching coach that becomes a manager can't handle the pitching, then you got problems anyway. So I think having those 2 heads together, and probably the guy in the bullpen is also a pitcher, it really helps that pitching staff. Whatever the message is, it helps him get it that much faster.
Don Wakamatsu is his bench coach, long-time major league bench coach, and then managed a couple of seasons with the Seattle Mariners.
They got another great Blue Jay pitcher, Pat Hinkin, in the bullpen, and I tell you, that really helps to have 3 quality guys like that working a pitching staff.
One hop to Aaron Hill. No score at the end of 3 at Kauffman Stadium. First 3 innings. Here is our Time Warner Cable wideband internet pitch speeds. Some pretty good heat. And we're not talking about the weather. Brandon Morrow and Felipe Paulino both topping out at 97 in the first 3 innings. 9 up, 9 down against Paulino in the first 3 innings.
Those guys are working above the outside temperature today. About 6 degrees hotter. I mean, to watch a guy consistently at 97, you don't see that very often either. And it's 97 in the strike zone and come back with those kind of breaking balls. Paulino with his hard slider, Morrow with his hard slider. So you can see where with throwing strikes, those breaking balls, how they're pretty late on the fastball.
Rolled to third. Avila's charges and throws wide. Look at Hosmer's play. No. Matt Trainer ready to argue in Hosmer's behalf from his angle. He thought that Hosmer kept his foot on the bag. And now it's going to be Ned Yost to talk things over with first base umpire Jim Wolf.
You know, Mike comes in to make this play. When you let your arm drop down like that, the ball's going to trail back into the runner unless you throw to the outfield side of first base. Otherwise, you got to come over the top to make that ball stay straight. You can see Eric makes a nice, quick move right there.
Oh, boy.
Wow. What an athletic job that Hosmer did on this play. I mean, that's agility at first base right there. Just knowing not only that you got to make this catch, be able to switch your feet and make the tag at the same time. I mean, that's great agility right there.
He not only had his foot on the bag, he dragged it across the bag. So there goes the perfect game. And now Corey Patterson. And actually that time Hosmer tried to get to it before it went foul because he was in front of Patterson. So Felipe Paulino, in his third appearance for the Royals, has now gone 9 1/3 innings, 5 hits, no walks, no earned runs.
Well, Corey Patterson's off to his best year, and a lot of it is because he got Bautista behind him, so he's going to get better pitches to hit. And so he's in a good position right now. They can almost do a hit and run. He can do pretty much what he wants because most times he's going to get a fastball because they don't want to walk him with Bautista coming up next.
Flied out to right field in the first inning. Escobar, not much of a stolen base threat. He has 1. But the Blue Jays are third in the league in stolen bases. They really wanted to add more speed. They were really a one-dimensional offense last year. They did win 85 games. They wanted to add more balance to the offense. So they went out and got Corey Patterson. They traded for Rajai Davis. They stole 58 bases all year. Last in the league. 58 stolen bases. Well, right now, they have 55 stolen bases.
And it's all led by Rajai Davis with 18. Patterson with 7. Aaron Hill with 7.
Over Trainer up against the screen. And a wild pitch sends Escobar to second base. And now Escobar and Escobar will chat right around second base.
The way Paulino was throwing, that's one pitch that never entered my mind was a wild pitch that high. He was down in the zone with all of his pitches. And that's a good sign they maybe tried to overthrow a fastball.
Now Cita says, let me see what you've got in this 4-game series, buddy.
I think Uniel's sitting on 5 errors. Alcides is sitting on 4. So they're right in the same ballpark.
Missed badly with the last 2 pitches, 2-2.
Yeah, really spinning off. You know, just open up the front side a little bit too fast, and that right arm's not having a chance to catch up.
And another thing. You think you can come in here to Kauffman Stadium with your flashy glove, thinking you're going to be making big plays? I got another thing coming for you. That'll advance the runner, so Patterson swinging at a pitch that wasn't in the strike zone, but getting the job done with a productive out and a runner at third with 1 away. So it's Bautista coming up with his 40 RBIs. We'll revisit our Sprint You Call It question for tonight in reference to his 54 home runs last year. What's the most surprising home run season in the last 20 years? 40% agreeing with you, Frank. Brady Anderson with 50 in 1996, and then Bautista with 54 last year.
I'm just surprised so many fans remember Brady Anderson in the Baltimore Orioles of 1996.
Out and a ground ball to third in the first inning. One and one. Because of all the home runs, teams have been a lot more careful with him this year. And he leads the league in walks with 52. Paulino is throwing him strikes, and it is 1-2. Runner at third without a base hit. Yunel Escobar reaching on an error by Aviles to second on a wild pitch and to third on a ground ball. Still 1-2. If you haven't checked on the draft, here are the first 5 picks today, with the Royals selecting 5th, and they took Bubba Starling. Now they have to convince him to play for the Royals and not go to Nebraska. That'll get a run home. Another ground ball for Bautista. That drives in Escobar. It is an unearned run, and it is the first run that anybody has scored against Paulino since joining the Royals. But in his mind, and Eric Hosmer's mind, this inning should be over.
Well, Hosmer did a great job, going across the base path to make this catch and being really athletic enough to really stay in there. And I mean, he just came very close to even getting his foot stepped on in that case. But that was an outstanding play on his part.
Outside to Adam Lind. Flied out to deep center in the second inning. Recently back from the disabled list. Came back on Saturday, and then in his second game back yesterday, hit 2 home runs and drove in 3. Yesterday in Baltimore, the Orioles took, or the Blue Jays rather, took 3 out of 4 from the Orioles. They have played very well lately on the road. They've won 7 of their last 10 away from Toronto. 3-0. Jim Joyce is in the house. 3-1. Three balls, 2 strikes. Adam Lind 2 years ago was the designated hitter of the year, but he's done very little against the Royals. 15 career games against KC and a 190 batting average. Still 3-2. Got him. 1 run, no hits, and the Blue Jays lead 1-0. $3.10 game, and you can purchase all-you-can-eat seats. It includes all the hot dogs, nachos, peanuts, and pretzels, Pepsi products, all you can handle for one low price. Go to Royals.com/all-you-can-eat. So 1-0 Toronto with an unearned run. It'll be Eric Hosmer, Jeff Francoeur, Billy Butler in the 4th inning. Hosmer struck out swinging in the 1st. Brandon Morrow has 3 strikeouts. 1 ball, 1 strike. 3 strikeouts tonight, 60 on the year in 47 innings. He's averaging about 12 strikeouts per 9 innings. That is out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Catch a ball in your bucket of popcorn?
Not if I'm going to eat popcorn the rest of the night. You know what he did? with his sunglasses on.
There it is.
Nice. Oh, but look at it, blew out the bottom of the bucket.
It wasn't in the air. It had bounced before it got there.
Escobar throws wide. So Hosmer, who kept his foot on the bag in the top of the 4th inning, even though he didn't get the call, he's at first, thanks to an error by AJ shortstop Yunel Escobar. So the bottom of the 4th begins just like the top of the 4th.
Well, he just got a little lazy on this and let his arm drop, and the ball ran back down the line. And Rivera is not a first baseman by trade, so he's not going to be as agile as Hosmer is on first base. So he just fortunate he was able to even make this catch.
And 1 on Frank Coor. He flied out to center in the 1st inning. Carsoup.com, email the booth night. Let's go to Joel.
All right, Ryan, thank you very much. Mark Cohen, Lawrence, Kansas. But this one just kind of made me laugh. He said it may be a little early to think about, but Felipe Paulino for Cy Young. I enjoyed that one. Michael Kraft.
Walking in Memphis?
Yes,
Is that
sure.
Mark Cohen?
No, Michael. Mark?
Oh, Michael.
Mark Cohen. Mark Cohen, K-O-E-H-N. I think that's right.
Okay.
Michael Kraft, Prairie Village. Why didn't the Royals take a starting pitcher in the first round of the draft today? There were 4 that they were supposedly interested in, and those pitchers went 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the draft. Royals picked 5th, and they're very happy with their pick. And that brings me to one that I know will make Ryan smile. Rodney Chin, Ithaca, New York. Bubba Starling, your thoughts?
Well, not being a scout, but just watching him. Frank and I were having dinner before the game tonight. I mean, just watching him hit and run the bases and play the outfield. I mean, he looks like an athlete and has good baseball actions.
You know, Dayton also mentioned that, you know, his athletic ability along with his baseball instincts made him very attractive also.
And, of course, it doesn't hurt that he grew up right down the road.
Hey, hometown heroes are always welcome. You know how that goes.
You do.
Popped up into shallow right field. And Bautista calls off Aaron Hill. 1 down.
Andrew Kane in Windermere, Florida says, hey guys, how do you think Alex moving from the infield to outfield improved his hitting? I don't know if it did or not, but any thoughts on that, guys?
I don't think it improved his hitting. I think his work over the offseason with Kevin Seitzer improved his hitting, but I definitely think that moving in the outfield gave him less to think about. As he was playing third base, you're always thinking about the next play, doing this, doing that, where outfielders tend to have a little more freedom out there from those type thoughts.
Got a question from Kenny Sloop in Topeka, and this one's for Ryan, but I'll pass along that Jeff Montgomery on Hy-Vee Royals Live today was saying that he found out he was drafted by his hometown Cincinnati Reds while he was on the golf course. He got a telegram to let him know back in 1993. Ryan, it wasn't quite that long ago for you, but this question from Kenny for Ryan. What were you doing when you heard that you were drafted?
Well, I was still in school. It was my senior year. And I was drafted by the Indians, but I hadn't talked to anybody with the Indians ever, high school or college, and so I was a little surprised. Now, my dad was managing the Cubs, and they just made a trade with the Indians, and I wondered if part of the deal was my dad forcing the Indians to take me in the draft. I was suspicious. No, but that was just a big surprise because I'd never even talked to an Indian scout in my life. Line to right field, Bautista runs it down. I must point out, Joel, that I was taken in the 27th round, and scouts don't talk to those guys. You know, we're in the dartboard phase of the draft there. You know, they just put a bunch of faces on a dartboard and they throw a dart up against there and they go, well, I guess we're going to take that Lefevre guy from Minnesota.
Yeah. I think I said 93, by the way, which would have been closer to you. Monty was 83, and that draft worked out pretty well for the Royals for guys that they didn't necessarily draft. Number 1 pick overall in 83 was Tim Belcher. He ended up being a Royal. The second pick was Kurt Stillwell. He ended up being a Royal. And, of course, Jeff Montgomery ended up being a Royal.
Here's an interesting note about my draft, Joel, because it affects Lonnie Goldberg, who is the director of scouting, so he's very busy tonight. He and I were not only drafted in the same draft, but in the same round of the same draft. He was also a 27th round draft pick by the Texas Rangers. Well, don't everybody all look excited at the same time?
I thought Frank would maybe chime in.
No.
Well, I can't share the experience, Joel.
Mike Aviles walked first time up, stole second base, his 10th of the year. And that's drilled into right center field, slicing away from Davis, and it drops. Hosmer coming around third base. Aviles on his way to third. The Royals have tied the game. And Mike Aviles puts an end to an 0 for 12.
I don't know if there's anything more satisfying than taking a pitch underneath the chin and then coming back on the very next pitch and getting a triple and tying this game up with an RBI. Now, this is what Mike has been trying to do, is just square the balls up that he's supposed to hit. And when he does, we know that he does drive the ball well in the alleys. And you see Hosmer scoring all the way from first base.
And now Getz with the infield back on the right side, trying to get Aviles in from third. So in the top of the fourth inning, the Blue Jays got a base runner because of an error, and he scored. And now the Royals do the same thing in the bottom of the fourth.
Well, you can see he just gets this ball right on the end of the glove and gets it back in. We just couldn't never catch up with it. It just kept going away from him. And Mike got some inside out on that swing.
Aviles' third triple and 30th RBI. Getz trying to get him home. Out on a ground ball to second base in the second inning, and now Getz trying to stop an 0 for 10. Slicing away from Patterson, but he's there across the line, and that's the inning. So both teams get an unearned run in the fourth inning. An error in the top of the fourth, and that batter runner ended up coming around to score for Toronto, but then in the bottom half put an end to an 0 for 12 and tripled home the tying run.
Well, and that makes the guy feel good when he gives up a run like that to come back and put your team back even again. And it's a good game. Right now, it's who's going to make the most mistakes.
Well, so far, Felipe Paulino has made no mistakes. Aviles again hit with an error, but looking at the replay, Yunel Escobar should have been called out. And then Paulino retired the next 3 hitters. Juan Rivera flied out to center field in the 2nd inning. No balls, 2 strikes. Exclusively an outfielder with the Angels, Juan Rivera has been playing first base for the Blue Jays.
And they like him better at first base, in the outfield, big outfields on AstroTurf, and they can prove a problem. But he's a good-sized guy, and he's got sure hands, and they really like the way he's played first base to this point this season.
Paulino getting it up there at 97 tonight with his fastball, but he has been a contact pitcher so far. Only 1 strikeout, and that was against Lind to end the 4th. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Rivera.
That may be a strike.
He's going to try and sell that it hit him on the hand.
It may have, but it still looked like a swing, so I don't know what the ruling will be there. Yeah, right on the fingers, on that top hand. But I think that was inactive, actually swinging at the pitch.
Well, it looks like John Farrell and Ron Kolpa might be arguing a call. So while we wait, we will remind you to join us here at Kauffman Stadium June the 21st for a throwback to the 80s. Royals take on the Diamondbacks at 7:10. Retro Night features $7 Hy-Vee infield ticket prices and $2 hot dogs, $2 peanuts, $2 small Pepsis, plus the first 10,000 fans will receive a Retro Royals t-shirt presented by Pepsi. So the ruling is a strikeout. So it was a swing. Paulino's 2nd strikeout, and now 1 away to J.P. Arancibia. A swing is a swing. Doesn't matter if you get hit by a pitch. If you swing, you swing.
That just shows that Rivera really wasn't picking up his fastball. He was getting out there a little bit too early, and he's throwing hard, and ball's running up and in, and commits a little bit too early. He's just fortunate that he was hit on the hand with that pitch.
No balls, 2 strikes. Arancibia grounded out to 3rd in the 2nd inning. Talking about no-hitters and how close Brandon Morrow came last year. Well, the Blue Jays were no-hit this year by Justin Verlander on May the 7th, and J.P. Arancibia walked, and that was the only thing that kept Verlander from a perfect game. 2 down in the 5th inning. So the Blue Jays without a hit through 4 2/3, and now it's Aaron Hill. 2 things really hurt Paulino and the Royals in that 4th inning. The missed call at first base, but it also added 8 pitches to Paulino's pitch count, and the Royals are still going to be a little careful with him. In his start on Wednesday against the Angels, he went 5 innings, 71 pitches as he continues to build up his pitch count. Pitching only out of the bullpen with the Rockies.
And he's a maximum effort pitcher too, with the hard slider, hard fastball. He does have a softer curveball that he throws, but you don't see much of a changeup from Paulino at this time.
2 balls, 1 strike. Made his Royals debut in Texas and threw 56 pitches in 4 1/3 innings, then 71 on Wednesday. He is at 56 with 2 outs in the 5th inning. It is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Aaron Hill flied to center field in the 3rd. Still 2-2. Aaron Hill batted just .205 for the Blue Jays last year. He did hit 26 home runs. He had a career year the season before, coming back from a concussion that wiped out much of his 2008 season. Chopping everything to the left side. And was very much a pull hitter last year. An amazing statistic. 108 hits last year, and only 8 were to right field.
Well, you can see there the breaking balls are going away from him, and he has that ability to get out and turn those hands over and redirect it back to the full side. And that makes it even more interesting because most of the hitters today are taught to hit the ball inside out, hit it back through the middle, the right center field, gap to gap. So he has been proven to be different.
Only 2 hits so far to the opposite field this year. He takes outside. That's Paulino's first walk tonight, his first walk as a Royal. So 1 on, 2 out. 61 pitches, still in very good shape. Trying to get through the 5th inning. And now Rajai Davis. Grounded back to Paulino in the 3rd inning. Hill goes, and Davis, did he interfere with Trainer? Trainer thinks that he did. Davis swung and missed and then fell over the plate. It is a stolen base for Hill.
Well, I think it goes back to whether Matt Trainer, if Matt had come forward and made contact, that might have been the difference right here. There's no contact actually made between Trainer and Davis right there.
What about the bat?
I guess that it's all contact, I believe. But the bat had hit him, that would have been different. Let's take a quick look at this. That's pretty close.
Yeah.
You can tell right there that was a hit and run, the way he went after that pitch.
Third strikeout and 5 hitless innings for Paulino. TOT trivia question. Who are the 3 #1 overall NFL picks that were drafted by the Royals? Matt Traynor struck out in the second inning. Both teams with an unearned run. The Royals 1 run, 1 hit. The Blue Jays 1 run, no hits. 2 balls, no strikes. Alcides Escobar will be next, and then Alex Gordon. Popped up. And Juan Rivera is there for the out. All right, Frank. Well, Bo Jackson, right?
Bo Jackson, John Elway, for sure.
We threw out Dan Marino, but apparently Dan Marino was not a first overall pick in the NFL.
And I don't think we drafted Deion Sanders.
Dick Butkus. No? All right. Strike on Alcides Escobar. Lost a hit on a good play at third by Jason Nix in the third inning. Oh and 2. Ryan Leaf. Another pop up off of first. And again, it's Rivera, 2 down. Tony Dorsett. I don't know. Steve Bartkowski.
Wow.
Did you know that?
I had no clue.
You know, sometimes with these trivia questions, it rings a bell when you see the name, but I'd never seen that before. And there you have it. Kurt Nelson, who runs the Royals Hall of Fame, responsible for that information, that trivia question tonight.
First, I thought he made it too easy. But that's always a little twist in there somewhere.
Dan Marino was a draft pick of the Royals, but was not first overall in the NFL draft. Archie Manning was also drafted by the Royals. No balls, 2 strikes on Alex. He is 0 for 2. And as Frank said, Deion Sanders was also once drafted by the Royals. Alex trying to bust out of an 0 for 9. 1 and 2. Two and 2. Of course, it was a big national story, but I remember it. And I believe when Bo signed with the Royals, he went right to Double-A. And he wasn't there for very long. He got to the big leagues rather quickly, didn't he?
Very quickly, yes. He made an impression while he was there.
This was the beginning of the national sports highlight shows, and so you could go around the country and see highlights. And I remember, I think they televised it live, Bo Jackson's first major league at bat, and if I remember correctly, that he hit a long drive foul, like over near the windows maybe of the old Stadium Club, and everyone, ooh, I don't think he got a hit in that at bat, but there was plenty of oohing and awing after that. 4 strikeouts for Brandon Morrow. Game recap and a couple of unearned runs. Escobar reaching on an error. And then a ground ball by Jose Bautista drove the runner home. In the bottom of the fourth, Eric Hosmer reached on an error, came home on Mike Avila's triple. Felipe Paulino has pitched well. He has made this defensive play on Rajai Davis. And on the mound, he has not given up a hit in 5 innings. He has struck out 3. Jason Nix fouls it off of his foot. He'll be followed by Escobar and Patterson. Paulino has faced 17, retired 15. Escobar on base with the walk in the fourth, and with the error in the fourth, and then Hill with the walk in the fifth. Nix popped out to third in the third inning, 0 for his last 11. And pass Escobar, and the Blue Jays have their first hit. So we've seen Mike Aviles end an 0 for 12, and now Jason Nix an 0 for 11. And now, out of appreciation for his effort through the first 5 innings, nice applause for Paulino.
Well, this ball here was hit very hard. You can see Escobar at shortstop. Yeah, he just was kind of frozen there and just didn't have time to make a move. And that's how hard that ball was actually hit.
And now Nix runs. It's grounded right to Getz, who happened to be standing on the bag, and that's a double play. And Escobar violated rule number 1 in a hit and run.
In a hit and run, you don't want to hit the ball back through the middle. Everybody's converging on the middle, and Nix had an outstanding jump at first base also. And that was just tailor-made double play right there.
I think it would have been more difficult for Chris Getz to avoid the bag than it was to field the ball on the bag.
It was just right there. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better hop. Didn't have to reach down. It was just right in stride. Well-placed ground ball.
So 3 pitches, 2 outs, and now Patterson, who is 0 for 2. Reading up on Felipe Paulino, and mostly last year, the Royals saw him in interleague play when he was pitching with Houston, known more as a thrower. And what I mean by that is, especially guys who have a good arm and they're converting from position player to pitcher, good arm, but they're just throwing it as hard as they can. They don't have really much of a feel for pitching. Well, I haven't seen any hint of that since he joined the Royals.
Well, I agree with you. I mean, he looks imposed on the mound. It looks like he has a good awareness of where he's at. He's following the lead of Matt Trainer very well, and with the exception of a few pitches, he's lost control up in the zone. He's been down for pretty much all of his pitches.
Well, he didn't want to do that after getting the double play, a 4-pitch walk. His second walk tonight. Remember, you can stay connected to the Royals on Twitter by following @Royals. For breaking news, instant game discussion, and special discounts, there's no better place. Follow @Royals today. For tonight. Well, if you're going to walk somebody, you don't want to do it in front of Jose Bautista, who leads the league in hitting, leads the league in home runs, and is in the top 10 in RBIs, and he's already driven in a run tonight. Very close at first base.
They're a very good move.
As we said, very close.
That's the difference between a left-handed first baseman and a right-handed first baseman. They can get that tag, left-handers can get that tag right down into they can let the ball travel as far as they want to, go straight down and make that tag. Don't have to do any reaching at all.
strike. Our sprint, you call it, question for tonight. The most surprising home run season in the last 20 years. Now just 2 percentage points separating Brady Anderson from Jose Bautista last year. Slider just missed away, 2-1. 3 of those 54 home runs came against the Royals last year. Royals and Blue Jays split 6 games, with the home team taking 2 out of 3. Two and two.
This is a very good pitch here, Ryan. This is a nice pitch down. Bautista wants the ball up a little bit more. This is just right at the knees. It's an outstanding pitch.
And a good take by Bautista.
Yes.
Wasn't the pitch he was looking for. Patterson runs, pitches outside, and Patterson steals his 8th, and Chris Getz, that'll put a smile on Frank's face, stayed with the runner. Second stolen base for the Jays tonight.
Yeah, I just think they got to stay with the tag. When the guy's moving that fast, there's a chance of him coming off the base. Just stay right with that all the way down. I just can't understand these guys. You know, they slide so late, and then that front foot's the one that's supposed to stay on the bag, but their front foot's jamming and they going across the base. You can see why you're having so many ankle problems and knee problems. Just really just gauging where you should slide to where you end up with do that pop-up slide right on the base.
Back-to-back walks with 2 outs.
Well, that's a good sign that I don't want to walk, I want to hit.
Much to the chagrin of Kevin Schenk. He told us that replay was coming, but there was a little bit of vinegar behind his voice. Did you hear that?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit? Well, that's his 53rd walk, so I bet he's getting tired of that. He wants to swing the bat.
He's probably frustrated, especially with men in scoring position.
Now ball 1 on Adam Lind. Flied out to deep center in the 2nd, struck out in the 4th. Royals got a big break after the leadoff single on a hit and run. Escobar grounded up the middle for a double play. So 2 outs on 3 pitches, and now back-to-back walks. 1-1. Just rolling along in the first 3 innings. Didn't throw more than 9 pitches in the first 3. But now 20, 21, and 15.
Yeah, just getting a little bit in uncharted waters right here. But you know, and going back to Bautista, the only way you can make sure he doesn't hit it, don't steal a base. You know, keep Patterson at first base, he'll get the hit. But anytime that base is open down there, he's not getting anything good to hit.
Royals will be happy if Adam Lind swings at that all night. 96 miles an hour, up and away.
Nobody hits that pitch.
What about Vladimir Guerrero in his prime?
I just don't know if he hits that pitch. He might foul it off.
Great movement. Lind gave up, the pitch did not, and the inning is over.
Contestant tonight is James Trice from Kansas City, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run this inning, James will win $1,400. But if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, James will win $25,000 from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals.
And the 2-3-4 hitters coming up. Both teams with just one hit. Royals got an RBI triple from Mike Aviles in the 4th inning. Felipe Paulino went 5 innings without giving up a hit. And then Jason Nix singled leading off the 6th. A little bit inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Melky walked in the 1st inning, then stole a base and grounded out in the 3rd. Two and 1. Blue Jays with an unearned run in the 4th inning. An error charge to Mike Aviles on a missed call at first. Eric Hosmer ruled to be off the bag, but replays showed that he kept his foot on the bag. Line over Aaron Hill and into right field. Just missed it. And now a throw behind Melky by Bautista. The Royals have the leadoff man on for the 2nd time. And now we get into Hosmer, Francoeur, and Butler.
Well, Mara gets his ball in on Cabrera. He doesn't really sting it like getting a good part of the bat on. This is up around the trademark and hit it in a good spot. He'll have to go to his left a little bit and couldn't get under this ball so he can get up high enough, but he just did get it over his glove.
Hosmer trying to lay one down. The Blue Jays were not set up to defend against the bunt. But in the big picture, if Eric Hosmer, with his ability and his power, wants to lay one down, the Blue Jays probably say, go right ahead.
Well, I think you got to reserve that one for nobody on base. Right now, you want to try to hit a double and then try to play the run right here. You have to wonder why a lot of the guys, they put these big shifts on, and when there's nobody on base, and you're early in the game within the first 6 innings of a ball game, why don't you just take that base hit? You know, ego forces them to keep trying to hit through the zone, but that base hit is there all the time if they want to take it.
Well, and as you said, too, that if a guy like Hosmer, or really anybody for that matter, is going to do something like that, you want him to at least try, because otherwise you're just giving up a strike against a pitcher like Morrow, who has good stuff.
Yeah, you don't want to give the fastball away unless you definitely put the ball in play somewhere.
Royals got their unearned run in the bottom of the 4th. Hosmer reached on a throwing error by Yunel Escobar. And with 2 outs, Mike Aviles tripled him home.
Well, the Royals seem to have something on Morrow. They've been running. They've got 2 stolen bases. Cabrera already has 1. So they've been able to pick something up on him at all. But that's the pitch right there, Ryan, that Eric Hosmer has a hard time laying off of. That's the one he's got to work on. That one out over the plate. He sees it very well, but just haven't been able to make contact on it.
Again, a fastball up, and according to Fox Tracks, out of the strike zone. Still no balls, 2 strikes. Fans often ask why that is such a tempting pitch for the hitters, and the best explanation I've heard is the higher it gets, the closer it is to eye level, so your brain tells you you can hit it because you see it so well.
You see it so well. It looks, that's the biggest the baseball is going to look to you, is when it's up in there, but you get halfway through your swings, oh man.
Got him with a fastball up and away. 5 strikeouts for Morrow and 2 on that pitch against Eric Hosmer. Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefevre with Frank White, Joel Goldberg, producer Kevin Shank, director Steve Kurtenbach, associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson. The producer of Royals Live is T.J. McGinnis. Francoeur has flied out twice, once to center, once to right. And that's lined to left center field, and Davis closes quickly, makes the catch, falls down. Melky back to first and 2 away.
This ball, when left at bat, you really thought this ball was going to be a base hit. It looked like it was going to be in the alley, and Corey Patterson closed well in that hole and just cut that ball off. And you got 2 center fielders out there, and they cover a lot of ground.
Thank you, Frank. I said Davis. It's Patterson in left field. And Morrow still keeping a close eye on Melky Cabrera. Melky stole his 7th in the first inning. Billy Butler lined to right last time up. He has also struck out. A pitch out. So the Blue Jays are convinced that Melky's going to take off. Royals have stolen 2 against Morrow. Mike Aviles also had a stolen base. That was in the 2nd inning. Aaron Sevilla is going to go out to the mound and talk to Morrow. And of course, we don't know what they're talking about, but I wonder if this has anything to do with reminding Morrow that there's a pretty good hitter at the plate. There are 2 outs, and the chances of Melky Cabrera stealing 2nd, 3rd, and home to put the Royals in front is pretty slim.
Well, I think you're on the right track there, Ryan. Just getting focused back on the hitter. A lot of times you get distracted worrying about the guy at first, and you serve up a pitch you don't want to serve up. Then you got bigger problems than what you're dealing with right now.
Melky not running, and it is down and away. 2-0 on Billy. 10 hits for Billy on this homestand, including a walk-off home run on Wednesday. But of those 10 hits, he has only driven in 3. Not running again. Field down to first base umpire Jim Wolf. No swing. And it is 3-0.
You can tell Billy was geared for fastball all the way right there, and he saw that slider and was able to hold up. That's when you just backed out, got back on his heels, and took that pitch. And he's probably going to be hitting 3-0 right here, right? So he still had to make sure he gets his pitch.
Maybe a little high. 97 miles an hour and up around the letters. 3-1.
I think that's that borderline fastball. That's that area that Billy gets on top of that ball and can hit that ball to right center, but you don't want to swing at that pitch 3-0.
Maybe on 3-1.
3-2, you better foul it off somewhere.
Melky finally runs, but it's ball 4. So Melky would have gotten second base anyway. And there are 2 on with 2 out. So that brings up Mike Aviles. He tied the game with 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Well, this is after being knocked off the plate with a fastball inside. He comes back and really gets inside a ball in the middle of the plate. Davis cuts it off, but not before Mike's at third and Eric Hoskins across home plate.
He had been 0 for 12. His batting average had fallen to .222, but a walk and a stolen base in the second inning, and then the RBI triple in the fourth. Slider for strike one. 95 pitches for Morrow, so a tie game at 1, but the Royals are getting closer and closer to the Blue Jays bullpen. One and one. Royals have scored just 8 runs in their previous 5 games. Shut out for the 3rd time yesterday against Minnesota, 6-0. Two and one. Vilas is going to have a tough time avoiding pitches that are up and in with the way he strides towards third.
Yeah, it really never gets his face turned away from the ball, and that is a good running fastball. It's going to be difficult. He's going to probably go the same route on that ball up and in. You just got to clear your shoulder and get your hands out of the way.
Had a slider that was up and fouled it back. 2-2. Runners go, and Aviles lifts it to center field. So Davis moves up again, way off to his left side, and Morrow pitches a scoreless 6th. Pepsi Max is the official soft drink of the Royals and the Fox Sports Kansas City broadcast booth. Never sacrifice taste for 0 calories again with Pepsi Max. New look, same great taste, and 0 calories. Pepsi Max. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. So to the 7th inning in a 1-1 tie. 3 hits, that's it. The Royals with 2, the Blue Jays with 1, and they didn't get that until the 6th inning. Both runs are unearned. Juan Rivera leads off. Felipe Paulino had 82 pitches, so 11 more than his last start. 2 balls, no strikes. He has walked 3, and those 3 have come in the last 2 innings. Rivera, Arancibia, and Hill coming up in the 7th inning. At the knees for a strike. Yunel Escobar reached on an error, scored in the 4th inning on Bautista's ground out. Eric Hosmer reached on an error in the bottom of the 4th and scored on Mike Avila's triple. Outside, 3-1. Paulino might be one pitch away from some movement in the Royals bullpen.
I have to agree with you on that one. He's getting in that area. Last inning he showed a little bit of command problems, and now he's definitely in uncharted waters.
Hit the bag. Rivera does not run well, so he'll be held to a single.
I mean, he doesn't get any fortunate than this. I mean, Mike Aviles goes to dive for a ball he thinks he's going to catch and hits the bag and goes right over his back. I mean, this is, you just don't place the ball any better than that. And Alex is able to get on it quickly enough to keep Rivera at first base.
And they are moving around in the Royals bullpen. Arancibia at the plate. 2 ground balls to Aviles. So 0 for 2 tonight. Had quite a year last year. Arancibia was the MVP of the Pacific Coast League. That's the same league that Omaha plays in. It is Greg Holland warming up in the Royals bullpen. Arancibia had 32 home runs last year. That was the most of any minor league catcher. And he took that right to the big leagues. In his first major league at bat, he hit a home run on the first pitch from James Shields of the Rays. And then later in the game hit another home run. That was also on the first pitch. He finished his first big league game with 2 home runs, a double, and a single.
You'll never forget that one.
Whoa, where do you go from there?
4 home runs. You're right. 2 home runs on opening day. I mean, when you hit your first one, the first pitch that you see, that's a memorable moment there.
Juan Rivera, not normally known for his speed. But he's going to improve the grounds in front of the bag. He has stolen 2 bases this year. Kicking away the excess dirt so he can dig in. Past Hosmer, and it squirts through the right side. Rivera goes first to third. The throw is just a little bit up the line from Francoeur. He made it close. So a ground ball off the third base bag. And I don't think you could hit it any softer than Arancibia did, but he hit it in the right spot.
Yeah, you could tell right away he was trying to manipulate the ball between that hole over there and did a great job. And Francoeur has a chance right here at third, but the ball goes up the outfield side of third base. I mean, just an outstanding piece of hitting. And you can see right there was a chance there, but didn't have much of a chance after the ball went off to the left field side of third base.
So first and third with nobody out for Aaron Hill. A fly out in the 3rd inning, and then he walked and stole a base in the 5th. Inside, ball 1. 90 pitches for Paulino. So he's added 19 to his pitch count from his previous start. Slider is high and away, 2-0. Everybody keeping a close eye on Paulino with his pitch count this high. And That's about the 5th time tonight that Aaron Hill has chopped one foul off to the third base side.
Well, he really hits around the ball. You don't see many hitters like that very often. Almost like his wrist turned right at the point of contact. He doesn't really get through the ball. It just goes to a certain point, and wrist turns over, and he always hits a lot of toppers like that.
Three and one. Not very big, listed at 5'11", but he weighs over 200 pounds, so he is put together. Concussion in 2008 really shortened his season. Had 2 home runs, and then in 09 he went to 36. How about that for a home run jump? And then again last year 26 home runs, but only 68 RBIs, and he hit 205. Grounded to the left side. Aviles dives, throws to second for the force. A run scores to give Toronto the lead. A nice play by Aviles on the left side to get at least one out. It's the first earned run given up by Felipe Paulino.
That's a good job by Mike here. He goes hard to his left and leaves his feet. He had a little trouble getting it out of his glove, but was able to get the ball down and gets in time to get the force at second base, but not before Rivera scored. You can see right here had a double clutch and reach for it, but a good throw to Chris allows him to get out of the way of the runner. Now Paulino can get him a ground ball double play, be in good shape.
A little mix up on the signs there.
Wow.
Trainer's hoping for a pitch out, and Paulino threw it over the plate.
Well, no one's happier about that than the umpire. He's probably said, glad you called that one.
That's one way not to get a call the rest of the night. One and one on Davis. 0 for 2. Out on the best defensive play of the night when he hit a little tap in between the mound and the third baseline. Mike Aviles coming in for third was calling for it, but Paulino coming out of nowhere grabbed it. A blind throw to first base, and in time to get Davis, one of the faster runners in the American League.
That was amazing. He was able to get so much on that throw. All of his weight's going toward the third baseline, and he just wheeled and threw a strike to first base.
They have chased the pitch out of the strike zone. This is an easier play for Paulino to get Davis. So 2 outs, and Hill moves up to second base.
We can tell right now, just in this game alone, that he's really picked up the pace in terms of how he makes plays. And, you know, he just took his time there and just made a strike throw. Didn't get in a hurry. And his poise has just been really good on the mound.
Jason Nix singled leading off the 6th inning, and that was the Blue Jays' first hit tonight. And man, look at the jump by Aaron Hill to third base. We'll have to go back to second base because Jason Nix was hit by a pitch, so a dead ball. And that's the end of the line for Paulino. So first and second with the top of the order coming up, and the 4th time through for the Blue Jays. Paulino will get a nice round of applause for his efforts. Chevy call to the bullpen brings in Greg Holland. 2 runs in 6 2/3 innings. One of those runs unearned. He leaves behind a couple of runners for Greg Holland, who's on for his 7th appearance. Great numbers, 9 1/3 innings, only 4 hits, no runs, and he has struck out 13. A 125 opponent's batting average. Hey fans, don't forget to take your group out to Kauffman Stadium. You'll save big. Groups of 20 or more get a significant discount compared to single game ticket prices. For tickets, call 816-504-4040 or visit Royals.com. So first and second, 2 outs for Yunel Escobar. For 3, reached on an error and scored on a ground out in the 4th inning.
You know, I talked with Greg Holland and also Raw's first base coach Doug Sisson about the difference that we see in Holland this year. And he said over the winter he pitched winter ball, and his AAA pitching coach Doug Henry was the pitching coach, and they went out and they worked on tightening up his curveball and working faster off the mound. And he said then the final analysis was throw strikes. That he just wanted to quicken his delivery, tighten up his curveball, and get his fastball downhill.
Two balls, no strikes. Well, the adjustment has worked because Holland last year, he didn't get a lot of time with the Royals, but they did get to see him for 15 games. His ERA was 6.75. Falls behind, 3 balls, no strikes.
I really think it helps guys who don't have that good year in the minor leagues, that AAA year, or maybe a subpar year in the major leagues. And I think it really helps them when they go play winter ball. I mean, because you're playing against, in most cases, major league caliber type players. And it's a whole lot different than going to Arizona Fall League where you're playing against mostly AAA and AA players.
3 balls, 1 strike. Line towards right center. Melky on the move and runs it down. So it's a 1-run 7th inning for the Blue Jays and a 1-run lead. To you by the Missouri Division of Tourism. This is the Truman Library and Museum in Independence, hailed by the Dallas Morning News as America's best presidential museum. Visitors will find a museum store and dozens of interactive and hands-on exhibits designed to engage all ages. You can step into a replica of President Truman's Oval Office and experience some of the most dramatic moments in American history. Go to visitmo.com to start planning your next Missouri getaway. And that would be a
I would say that's a waning crescent moon.
Well, it's a moon. There's no doubt about that. But you're going with a waning crescent.
I have to get some confirmation. I'm sorry, waxing crescent. Okay.
This would be a Sean Camp and a Chevy call to the bullpen.
Yes, sir. Sinkers. He's gonna be throwing sinker ball. He's gonna keep the ball down. Sinker slider.
4.23 ERA and 25 appearances out of the bullpen. So Brandon Morrow gives up only 2 hits in 6 innings, an unearned run, 5 strikeouts. Trying to win for the first time in 5 starts. A strike to Chris Getz. 0 for 2 with a ground out and a foul out. Matt Trainer after him, and then Alcides Escobar. One and one. Off the end of the bat, shallow right field. Bautista makes the catch, and Chris Getz is 0 for 3. Let's get some more Carsoup.com emails to the booth from Joel Goldberg.
Well, Ryan, got a lot of questions and tweets for that matter about that ball back in the 5th inning that Juan Rivera struck out on and it hit him initially. Take a look back at that play. Mike Koliker, Caleb Delaney, a couple that sent in messages saying, shouldn't this have been a hit by pitch? I happen to be sitting with umpire supervisor Steve Palermo at the time, so that's good timing. And he says to me, and explains it this way. If it's judged that the batter swung at the ball, and in that case it's judged that he swung at the ball, and then it strikes the batter's person, meaning it hits him before the bat, then it's a swing and a miss. The ball is dead. In this case, so the runners can't advance. In this case, he swings and misses. It's the 3rd strike. He's out. Now, the other way around is if he's judged to have swung, it hits the bat first and then hits the batter, it's a foul ball. So because it hit the batter first, not the bat, hit him in the hands and then the bat, and he was swinging, it's a swing and a miss. Ball is dead.
A swing is a swing.
Swing is a swing. That makes sense?
To me, it does.
Yep.
Okay. So bad luck for Rivera that it hit his hand first, not the bat first. He was swinging. He is out. So, yes, it did hit him, but it is a strikeout. So we got that cleared up.
Here's one for you. Ground ball left side. Base hit for Matt Trainer. He's 1 for 3. What if a pitch is in the dirt and hits the batter, but it hit the dirt first? What's the call?
I believe it's a hit by pitch.
You're right.
And the only reason why I know that is because I had that thought process when I saw Vladimir Guerrero hit a ball cricket style once, I think last year, or a couple of times. Now, wait a minute, that ball was in the dirt. It's still a live ball.
Mm-hmm.
But we're done with Vlad this year, I think. Or maybe he's back one more time.
No, the Orioles come back to Kansas City one more time.
Right, so we got more chances for cricket style. I mean, Vlad's the only guy that can do that, right? Marianne Hartzler from Auburn, Kansas wants to know if the 2 Escobars are related. No, Alcides is from Venezuela, and Yunel is from Cuba. Also, she said, I've noticed more than one Cabrera. Yes, there are many, and many of them are not related, but there are a lot of Cabreras in the league.
Well, when we play the Indians, the Royals have a center fielder, and the Indians have a shortstop and a second baseman.
Post-game show's nightmare. The highlight says Cabrera.
Cabrera grounds to Cabrera, who flips to Cabrera.
Is it Melky? Is it Asdrubal? Is it Orlando? Then slide up to Detroit, Miguel.
Mm-hmm.
And none of those Cabreras, by the way, are related as far as I know. The ones that we just mentioned.
No balls, 2 strikes on Escobar. He's 0 for 2.
This is a good one, and I know none of us are in the draft room, but I think we could speak to the amount of work that goes in. Tommy Dugan from Lee's Summit wants to know, I was wondering what the draft process involves. When do the Royals begin scouting for the draft? This is something that I'm assuming, guys, that in a day or two they'll be starting for next year already.
Yeah, they start pretty quickly, Joel. They take a little time off, and some of the guys who scouted amateur they'll start to go around and see some of our minor league teams and start counting those teams. So it's getting late up to these guys who get drafted now. Their season starts, probably rookie ball season starts somewhere around June the 21st. That short season A team also starts around that same time too.
Having a lot of questions coming in. Do we think that the Royals will be able to sign Bubba Starling? How does that work? And I don't think they draft him unless they think they have a good chance of signing him. The deadline is August 15th, I believe. And then if for some reason they were not able to sign him, they would get a pick back in return next year. They drafted him 5th. They would get the pick after 5 next year, or back a little further if one of the teams 1 through 4 didn't sign their picks. I've got to believe they think they can sign this kid.
Escobar strikes out, 2 down. And now John Farrell jumps out of the third base dugout. So Alex Gordon coming up. And it's Mark Zepchinski, a lefty, to face Alex Gordon. 2-1 Blue Jays with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. In the 7th inning, leaves behind a runner at first. MLB.com's At-Bat 11 app for Android, BlackBerry, and Samsung Galaxy Tab is live baseball. Follow the Royals wherever you are with game day pitch-by-pitch tracking. Plus, get in-progress box scores and stats, breaking news, searchable video highlights, game day audio. You can listen to every game live, and MLB.TV subscribers can watch games live with Android and Samsung Galaxy Tab. All of that, Frank White, and all you have to do is text at-bat to 31826 or visit Royals.com. Well, Frank, who's coming in to pitch for the Blue Jays?
Yeah. I'm going to say it's Zepchinski. Mark.
Close. Zepchinski.
Really?
Yeah. Take the R out and then replace the second Z with an H.
That's why you go first.
Alex 0 for 3, now 0 for his last 10. One ball, one strike. First time that Alex has faced Mark Zepchinski. .23 strikeouts in 26 innings. Worried that Matt Trainer might run.
Well, the Royals do look to exploit the teams that don't pay attention. So stranger things have happened with the Royals this year in their running game. Two balls, one strike.
Alex is at 273 this year against left-hand pitching. Lays off the sweeping breaking ball. It's 3 balls, 1 strike. Zepchinski out of the Blue Jays organization. They took him in the 5th round in 2007. Made his big league debut in 2009. Wouldn't go for it. So a walk with 2 outs. That puts the tying run in scoring position. And brings up Melky Cabrera, who has the option of moving over to the right side. Octavio Dotel, another former Royal, is ready in the bullpen. So John Farrell would prefer that Zepchinski throws to right-hand hitting Melky Cabrera, then Dotel to left-hand hitting Melky Cabrera. Melky has walked, singled. He has a stolen base. From this side of the plate, Melky is batting .243. .286 as a left-hand batter. And down and away, ball 1. John Farrell probably also would like to have Zepchinski in there if Eric Hosmer comes to the plate.
I think he'd prefer to have him just throw strikes right now. Just try to make something happen. Right now, he's been all over the place.
Down and in, 2-0. Of the Royals' 8 walk-off hits this year, Melky has 2 of them. He hits .333 with runners in scoring position, so he has been a clutch hitter for the Royals. And the Royals have 1 run tonight. It's an unearned run. And now, including tonight, the Royals have scored just 9 runs in their last 6 games, so they are dying for a big hit. .3-0.
The run after going 5 for 29 that Minnesota series, the runners in scoring position, a big hit right now might do a lot for that offense. It might get them all going. But they're one of those offenses that one guy gets a big hit, then the others sort of follow along. It's like it gets contagious with the whole team all of a sudden.
Back-to-back walks after coming out of the bullpen, and they're loaded up for Eric Hosmer. And it'll be pitching coach Bruce Walton out to chat with Zepchinski. While we have a moment, let's go around the American League on the Panera scoreboard. And it's Minnesota beating Cleveland. That's 5 losses in a row for Cleveland and 5 wins in a row for Minnesota. Baltimore beats Oakland. Oakland's lost 7 straight. Detroit beating up on Texas, so the Tigers have a chance to be a game and a half back before the night's over. Chicago trying to get back to 500. They lead Seattle, and it's Tampa Bay in front of Los Angeles. Slider is outside, ball 1. Hosmer .293 altogether against left-hand pitching so far this year, .206. 2-0. You'd love to see Hosmer swing the bat and get that big hit we're talking about, but he might be able to just stand up there and do nothing. Because Zepchinski looks like he's a long ways away from being able to throw 3 straight strikes.
I agree with you, Ryan. You might as well just put the bat on his shoulder and make him throw you a strike.
3-0. He's about to walk in the tying run. So John Farrell got the lefty-lefty matchup he wanted. With Matt Traynor at first base and 2 down, Zepchinski walked Gordon, walked Cabrera on 4 pitches, and now 3-0 on Hosmer. Tie game. Not quite what John Farrell had in mind. So it's Octavio Dotel to face Jeff Francoeur when we come back. For the big walk, and Eric Hosmer with the bases loaded walks to force in Matt Trainer. And now it's Octavio Dotel, appearance number 19 for him, and he's had his control problems. 11 walks in 14 2/3 innings. He has stranded 12 of the 14 runners he has inherited. He inherits 3 this time. Gordon at third, Cabrera at second, Hosmer at first.
It's all about fastball command with Dotel. If he can get the fastball over, then he can be pretty tough. But if he's wild with his fastball, then that's where the walks are going to come from.
And Francoeur goes after the first pitch. A couple of guys who have been around for a while, but they've never faced one another, at least in a regular season game. We don't know about spring training. We saw Jeff Francoeur as Eric Hosmer was batting, going through the scouting report with Kevin Seitzer. Oh and 2. 3 consecutive walks by Mark Zepchinski. First Alex Gordon, then Melky Cabrera, and then Eric Hosmer. That's Hosmer's 8th RBI during this homestand. Drilled to center field. Davis is there. And that's the inning. But the Royals tie the game, taking advantage of 3 straight walks. Holland is the pitcher of record. Felipe Paulino gave up 2 runs. One of them was unearned. The ruling was that Eric Hosmer came off the bag on this throw from Mike Aviles, but the foot not only hit the bag, but it dragged across first base. Jose Bautista in the same inning with a ground ball that scored Escobar. In the 7th inning, a base hit off the third base bag by Rivera, and then he scored on a diving play by Mike Aviles. So 2 RBIs for the Blue Jays, both coming on groundouts. The Royals run coming in the bottom of the 4th when they got an unearned run, and then the bases loaded walk in the bottom of the 7th. Line to right field. Francoeur makes a play. Corey Patterson is 0 for 3. And now Jose Bautista. 2 ground outs, an RBI, and a walk. His league leading 53rd walk of the year. Inside corner for a strike. One and one. There's our good buddy, stage manager Doc Carruthers. Locked in on every pitch tonight. On the edge of his seat. 1 and 2. You can't beat fun at the old ballpark, Doc. Doc just got back from India. There's Ron Swan. Two balls, 2 strikes. Doc has a, is it your sister, Doc, or your sister-in-law? His sister works for the U.S. consulate, right, in India. So took the family over there for a couple of weeks. Second time he's been to India. He's also a huge cricket fan, so he took in a lot of cricket matches over there. Line to left field, and a base hit for Bautista. So 1 on 1 out for the Blue Jays in the 8th. Well, speaking of cricket,
yeah, Holland does a great job getting this ball down, and he wants to get that front foot down, which he does. And when that front foot comes down, you got to be ready to swing. But I mean, he just golfed this ball. I guess the best way is more on the inner half of the plate, and that's why he got to it so easily. A little bit further out, he probably would have broke his bat and hit a little pop up.
Adam Lind, 2 strikeouts and a fly out to deep center field. Yesterday in Baltimore, 4 hits, 2 home runs, 3 RBIs.
Bautista has 5 stolen bases, so he will run.
Two and 0. Royals have held the Blue Jays to just 4 hits so far, and that's saying something, as they've really been swinging the bat well lately. In their last 9 games, 8 times they've had at least 10 hits. But Felipe Paulino and Greg Holland have held them to 2 runs, 4 hits in 7 1/3 innings. 3-1. Aaron Crow warming up in the Royals bullpen. And before Adam Lynn gets away from Greg Holland, pitching coach Bob McClure is going to go out and have a chat. Paulino walked 3, and Holland behind 3 balls, 1 strike. And walks have been coming in bunches lately for the Royals. They have the second most walks in the American League. And there really is no team where you want to allow walks, but one of the last teams you want to do that with would be the Blue Jays, with all the home runs that they hit. The Royals have kept them in the ballpark so far tonight. Adam Lynn has 9 home runs this year. As a team, they have 66. And the 3-1 pitch is in the dirt. Maybe that visit had something to do with not giving in to Adam Lynn. 3-1. And now Ned Yost is out, and he wants Aaron Crow to face Juan Rivera. So rather than give Lynn the opportunity with a runner at first and 1 out, Ned Yost is going to make Juan Rivera hit against Aaron Crow. Have runners at first and second with 1 out, and this is not a save situation, but Aaron Crow coming on with the game on the line, tied at 2 in the 8th inning, but he has been there, done that. He's pitched in the 8th inning for most of the year, and he'll get Juan Rivera when he's done warming up. He has inherited 14 runners this year and stranded 13.
He's done a great job, and I think he looks at this the right way. You know, he didn't, when he took over the closer's role, it wasn't like I'm going to be nervous or anything like that. He basically said, hey, I'm just going to treat it like 3 outs and then kind of go from there. So that takes all the pressure off when you have to come into that role.
Juan Rivera singled leading off the 7th inning, and it hit third base. Mike Aviles may have had a chance to dive and make that play. He was there, but the ball hit the bag, kangarooed over him, and went into left field, and Rivera came around to score. 96 in for a strike to Rivera. So he's getting his first look at Aaron Crow. One ball, 1 strike. Royals are trying to turn this homestand around. Their longest homestand of the year as far as games. 11 games, 11 days, and off to a great start, taking 2 out of 3 from the Angels, but then losing 4 straight to Minnesota. So 2-5 so far in the homestand. Close at second base.
Good timing on this pickoff, too. Anytime you get the fielder there at the base with his feet planted and the ball's there at the same time, that's great timing.
Good slider. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Against Greg Holland, Patterson lined out, Bautista singled, Lind walked, and now Crow against Rivera. Still 1-2. Blue Jays getting Juan Rivera along with Mike Napoli in the Vernon Wells trade during the offseason, and then shortly after that, the Blue Jays traded Mike Napoli to the Rangers. Rivera thought he made contact. Ron Kolpa says, no, you didn't. So 2 outs.
Take a good look at it there. It looked like a whoa. He might have got a little bit at the top of the ball, just judging by the way that the trainer tried to catch it right there. But it's one of those.
Look at that ball go straight down. Is that because of the bat or the glove?
I'm not sure, but you know, normally if you foul tip a ball, somebody's going to hear it, either the batter or now probably both. So Rivera and Ron Coppola, they just aren't getting along today.
That ball looked like it was going right into Trainer's glove and then just went straight down.
That's usually a good indication. It might have got fouled a little bit on top.
JP Arancibia, 1 out of 3, a 7th inning single. Saved by Trainer. 1 ball, 1 strike. Royals just tied the game in the bottom of the 7th inning on a bases loaded walk. Outside, 2-1. After blowing a save at the beginning of this homestand, the Royals announced that Joakim Soria would not be the closer until he was able to get back to his old self, and that Aaron Crow would be the closer in the meantime. Well, the Royals have not had a save in their last 15 games. And in the meantime, Joakim Soria has pitched 3 scoreless innings. 3 balls, 2 strikes. So who knows if Aaron Crow will ever get that opportunity, at least this year, to save a game. And Yost said yesterday that if Soria has 1 or 2 more outings like he's had since that last blown save, he'll be back as closer.
I think the next step is to put him in a high pressure situation, and then you get an idea from that.
Runners go. Arancibia strikes out. And after all that, the Blue Jays get nothing in the 8th.
between the Blue Jays and Royals. Whenever this game is over, we will have Boulevard Royals Live out at Rivals. Plenty to talk about as we will break down another impressive performance from Felipe Paulino. The Royals take local product Bubba Starling. We'll talk about that and hear from Bubba. Plus, we'll answer your questions. Text them into 432-432 space keyword live. Tell us your name, where you are from. We'll answer some of those. Highlights, reaction, and much more coming up on Boulevard Royals Live. Ryan?
All right, thank you, Joel. And here we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Royals will be facing Octavio Dotel. He got the final out of the 7th right after Mark Zepchinski came out of the bullpen, walked 3 straight hitters. He threw 13 pitches, 1 strike, coming on with a runner at first and 2 outs. But Gordon, Cabrera, and Hosmer walked. Hosmer's walk forced in Trainer to tie the game. And now it's Butler, Aviles, and Getz in the bottom of the 8th. Fouled away by Billy. Billy walked in the 6th, otherwise he is 0 for 2. Against Octavio Dotel, he is 1 out of 7. That hit was a double. One ball, 1 strike. Two and 1. Great line. Octavio Dotel was asked before the season began what his goals were for 2011, and he said his first goal was not to be traded in the middle of the season, which is completely out of his control. The bat goes towards third, the ball behind second base, and Escobar throws out Butler, 1 down. So here's Mike Aviles with 1 out. Tomorrow night, Vin Mazzaro will make the start against Kyle Drabek, the son of former National League Cy Young winner Doug Drabek. First pitch tomorrow at 7:10. Royals Live begins at 6:30. Aviles drove in a run with a triple with 2 outs in the 4th inning. His 30th RBI of the year. Also has a walk and a stolen base. And if you're wondering why Dotel doesn't want to be traded, because he played for the Mets, traded to the Astros, traded to the A's. He's played for the Yankees, the Royals, traded to the Braves, the White Sox, the Pirates, the Dodgers, the Rockies. He played for 3 teams last year. And now with the Blue Jays.
That's got to be pretty tough. I mean, just making an adjustment, you know, for all these different players, all these different teams. I can understand why that's his goal.
3 balls, 1 strike. Center field, and Davis at the track makes the catch. Still 2 down in the 8th inning.
Michael really squared that one up. He just hit it to the deepest part of the ballpark.
Dotel, a long time ago, started his career as a starter. And then while with the Astros, made the transition to the bullpen. He was involved in a trade that involved the Royals. Carlos Beltran trade. Carlos Beltran went to the Astros. Remember, the Oakland A's were also involved. And in that same trade, Dotel went from Houston to Oakland. He had already moved to the bullpen at that point. He made the transition in 2000, and it was a historical season on his part. He became the first National League pitcher to have 15 starts and 15 saves in the same season. Escobar picks up the ground ball, gets his out, and so are the Royals in the bottom of the 8th. We're still tied at 2. Let's take a look at tonight's Chevy play of the game back in the 3rd inning.
Well, this is the agility of Felipe Paulino coming off the mound and just makes a great play near the 3rd baseline. I mean, you just don't make that play any better than that if you're a pitcher. I mean, he put something on that throw. I mean, he's got his body turned around and fired a strike.
No time at all to find his target. It is 1-1 to Aaron Hill. Drove in what was the go-ahead run with a ground ball force out in the 7th inning, but the Royals tied it right back up in the bottom of the 7th. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Aaron Crow with 1 out and 2 on in the 8th replaced Greg Holland and struck out Juan Rivera and JP Arancibia. And now he gets the lower 3rd of the order here in the 9th. Back through the middle and into center field.
Well, Aaron left this ball right in the middle of the plate. It's supposed to be on the outside corner, and he'll, the way he's been pulling the ball, he takes this ball right back up the middle, and Aaron Crow's just lucky that ball missed him going back through the box like that. Rajai Davis, and this is a bunt situation. They can do a lot with him at the plate. They can bunt, they can hit and run, they can do a lot.
Davis has been on the disabled list, and that was early in the year. He had a right ankle injury, so this is just his 41st game. He does not have a sacrifice bunt, and there might be a reason why. Sometimes the situation just doesn't present itself. Sometimes the hitter is just not a very good bunter.
And which in his case is very surprising.
Last year in 143 games, he had 1 sacrifice bunt. That was with the Oakland A's.
And that's something they didn't believe in to begin with.
There you go. No balls, 2 strikes. Crow can't be the easiest guy in the world to bunt against, but Davis is fouled 2 away.
That's one of the things you wonder how hard it's worked on in spring training. You got certain guys in your ball club that you're really going to need to bunt during the course of a season. And I would think that Rajai Davis would be one of those guys.
Aaron Hill is 7 out of 7 in stolen base attempts. Blue Jays have 2 stolen bases tonight. So they've used their running game. We haven't seen their power. Right center field, it's Jeff Francoeur for the out. So a disappointing at bat for Davis as he doesn't move the runner up. And now Jason Nix is scheduled to hit. Instead, it will be Edwin Encarnacion. He was the designated hitter in Baltimore yesterday and had 3 hits. Batting with Hill at first base and 1 out. Encarnacion has really had his troubles this year on defense. He has committed 11 errors. Inside, ball 1. Outside, 2-0. Three balls, no strikes. Encarnacion, first drafted by the Rangers and traded to the Cincinnati Reds. He's from the Dominican Republic, and it says, what I've read, that when he was growing up, his favorite player was Nafi Perez. Four-pitch walk, 2 on with 1 out. Five walks given up by the Royals tonight. None of those walks have come around to score. It turns the lineup around, and now here's leadoff man Yunel Escobar. And now Mike McCoy will run for Encarnacion, who has some words of encouragement for Escobar as he heads back to the dugout. Escobar 0 for 4, but in the 4th inning reached on the throwing error by Mike Aviles and came around to score the game's first run. Grounded to Getz. Out at second. Double play, inning over. So the Royals get their 9th walk-off of the year. The bottom of the 9th is next. inning and 2/3 scoreless, couple of strikeouts, got a double play to get out of the 9th inning. Now we'll sit and watch as the Royals will face Casey Jansen in the bottom of the 9th. And the Royals will make a move right away. Matt Trainer was scheduled to lead off. Instead, it will be Mitch Meyer. Mike McCoy, who ran for Edwin Encarnacion. Encarnacion was hitting for Jason Nix. McCoy will go in at third base. This is game number 60 for the Royals. It is game number 16 for Mitch Meyer, but he's batting .348. Jansen with a fastball for a strike. Fastball with some good cutting movement in on Meyer.
Yeah, Mitch has made the most of his playing time. He just said he hadn't that many starts and not many at bats, but he's made them all count.
And a fastball at the knees over the outside. How about those two pitches? Man. Mitch 0 for 1 with a strikeout before tonight against Casey Jansen. One and two. Royals have had very few opportunities tonight. They have 3 hits in 8 innings. The biggest opportunity, bases loaded, 2 outs in the 7th, and the Royals got 1 run. 2 and 2, and that 1 run was on a bases loaded walk. Trainer, by the way, finishes 1 for 3 with a single and a run scored. Still 2 and 2. First overall pick today in the draft was out of UCLA. The 3rd overall pick was out of UCLA. Casey Jansen pitched at UCLA. The Blue Jays took him in the 4th round in 2004. And Meyer hanging in there. Still 2 and 2. Miles an hour, and that was the pitch that got the most of the plate of everything he has seen. 7 pitches in the at-bat.
And one of the things you don't play a lot is it's hard to keep that swing nice and short. Sometimes you can overextend your swing and jam yourself. And Mitch has been doing that a little bit, but he's been able to. Oh my goodness!
Well, according to Fox Tracks, that was outside. So Jansen begins his outing with a strikeout.
This is an unhittable pitch by anybody right here. Aaron Sebia did a great job in framing it for the umpire and keeping it right there, but that's well outside of the strike zone.
And now a strike to Escobar. 0 for 3. So just 2 hits in his last 28 at bats, and that has him down to 204. Grounded to Hill. So 0 for 4 tonight. So 2 down, and now Casey Jansen and Alex Gordon. Now Alex is 2 out of 2 in the past against Jansen with a double. He is due for a hit. 0 for 3 tonight. 0 for his last 10. He was on base in the 7th inning with a walk. That's the 15th time he's been on base during the homestand. Pretty good pitch there. Good pitch as far as getting a lot of the plate. 0-1. 1-1.
Well, Jensen does a pretty good job keeping the ball down. The ball's got a lot of run to it. The ball, he can throw a four-seamer inside, and then got that fastball that Myers struck on that ran to the outside part of the plate down.
1-2. Two runs, 3 hits for the Royals. But that's enough to be tied with 2 outs in the 9th inning. Two and two. Brandon Morrow went 6 innings. He gave up 2 hits, 1 run. It was unearned. He ends up with a no decision. Sean Camp gave up a single with 2 outs, and then Zepchinski walked 3 in a row, so the run was charged to Camp. Octavio Dotel an inning and a third, and now Jansen in the bottom of the 9th. Game 1 of 4. And we'll do it again at 2 balls, 2 strikes. On the Royals side, Felipe Paulino 6 2/3. He gave up 2 runs. 1 was unearned. Ned Yost went to Greg Holland, who went an inning and a third. And then Aaron Crow an inning and 2/3. Another 2-2. Struck him out, took something off it. So we will go to the 10th, tied at 2. We go into extra innings presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky all season long. Jack Link's Beef Jerky, feed your wild side. So Joaquin Soria comes on for the top of the 10th inning. Corey Patterson, Jose Bautista, and Adam Lind. Soria 7 out of 12 in save opportunities. A blown save on Monday, Memorial Day, a week ago today, and that's when he was removed from the closer's role. Brian Pena will take over behind the plate. Matt Trainer removed for a pinch hitter in the bottom of the 9th. 3 scoreless innings for Soria since losing the job. It'll be Patterson, Bautista, and Lind in the 10th. 0-2. Patterson 0 for 3, lined out to right last time up. He's also been on with a walk. He has a stolen base. Little tap out in front of the mound, and Soria throws out Patterson. Those 3 pitches right there was a glimpse of the old Joaquin Soria. Fastballs that stay down, good life, and then a hard-breaking ball.
Well, you're right, and by being able to throw those fastballs over early, now he can go to his secondary pitches. Earlier, the fastball command wasn't there, and he couldn't go to his secondary pitches, so he kept painting himself in a corner.
And now Soria and Bautista. Pulled foul, 1 ball, 1 strike. Bautista has driven in his 41st run, a single and a walk tonight. He is 0 for 1 against Joakim Soria. In on his hands, Aviles and Escobar are out, and it's Escobar just inside the line, 2 down.
Excellent pitch from Soria. This fastball runs in on his hands right here. He couldn't get the head of the bat out there and just got underneath this pitch and skied it. But good run on, good life on his fastball.
And now Adam Lind. 0 for 3 with a walk. A little bit outside, ball 1. Right on the black. That's Joakim Soria right there.
That's him, vintage.
Now Pena wants a fastball inside. A weakly hit one hopper to Escobar. The throw is wild, and Lind will hold at first base. Just in case, Lind had made a move towards second base. Hosmer applies the tag, but Jim Wolf says no.
Well, Escobar gets this ball in plenty of time to make a nice throw. He let that elbow drop a little bit and got underneath this ball and pushed it up and to the first base side. Didn't get on top. Elbow came first. The ball just went straight up in the air. He did a good job setting his feet, but didn't get on top of that throw at all.
Second error for the Royals tonight. They have committed at least 1 error now in 7 of their last 8 games. Popped up, and that's out of play. Soria against Juan Rivera. Singled off of third base in the 7th inning, and then Aaron Hill got him home. That gave the Blue Jays a 2-1 lead in the top of the 7th. The Royals tied it in the bottom half. In the bottom of the 10th, Melky Cabrera, Eric Hosmer, Jeff Francoeur. One and one. Good slider.
Yeah, it's been a while since he's been able to throw that slider. You know, he's usually working from behind with that fastball. Now he's used his curveball and his slider, and Brian Payne did a good job picking it up and showing it to the umpire.
Very defensive swing, and that's coming in there at 94 miles an hour. So I think Soria has proven, and you can't blame people for wondering because of the numbers, but one of the things that came up was he hurt, and he wasn't saying anything about it. Well, Soria maintained, the Royals maintained he wasn't hurt, and now watching what he's done the past few games and even tonight, that is not a hurt pitcher. That's Joaquin Soria. Done enough to get the closer's job back. 4 scoreless innings since losing the job, and impressive tonight. The only man that reached was on a throwing error.
Well, a lot of times when your confidence gets shaken a little bit, and the only way you can work it out is in those pressure situations. Things just kind of get bad for you sometimes. But just stepping away a little bit, clearing your head a little bit, and not having a game on the line for a couple outings, it seems like it's paid big dividends for him coming into the ninth ballgame.
This is Jason Frazier. He is the 6th Blue Jays pitcher tonight. And he'll get Melky Cabrera, Eric Hosmer, and Jeff Francoeur. The Royals with just 2 runs, 3 hits, but a chance to win the game here in the bottom of the 10th inning. Here's former Royal Greg Zahn doing some broadcast work with the Toronto Blue Jays. Spent some time catching with the Blue Jays, and had a big impact on the man on the mound right now, Jason Frazier. In his long major league career, Greg Zahn caught guys like Lee Smith, Rod Beck, Randy Myers, and learned quite a bit about their mentality being a late inning reliever, and passed on some of that knowledge to Frazier when they were together with the Blue Jays. No balls and 2 strikes on Melky. 1 for 2, 2 walks, and a stolen base.
Yeah, Zahn was a pretty intense guy when he was behind the plate, and one of those guys that wasn't afraid to block the plate. You know, he really tried to get the best out of his pitchers, and spent some time here with the Royals.
2000, 2001.
Says he's enjoying broadcasting.
Still 0-2. Was in spring training with the Padres this year, and then announced his retirement towards the end of spring training. Melky is 2 out of 8 against this pitcher. Chops it up the middle, and Hill throws him out. So 1 out, and now Eric Hosmer trying to stretch his hitting streak to 8 games. On base twice tonight, so without a hit, but he has scored a run when he reached on an error in the 4th, and then walked in a run. That was with the bases loaded in the 7th for his 19th RBI and his 8th on this homestand.
Well, they need a team putting hits back to back together tonight, Ryan. It might be one of them one swing nights, you know, where first team gets it over that wall is going to win it.
Frazier dropped the ball. There were bodies moving all over the place, and for a moment, Frazier, I think, had a chance to hang on to it. As soon as he got to the bag and looked up, the ball was there, but couldn't hang on.
And Hosmer did a good job hustling down the line. He misses the ball, and he does what he's supposed to do, continue on. But by the time he got turned around, he was over the base and got his foot stepped on, got knocked down, and couldn't hold on to the ball. You know, when you take that direct line to first base, you can't veer backwards. And once the ball got by him, he was too far ahead of the base, and he tried to get there, but then he got to turn to the inside, and that just put him off balance, and he kind of lost where he was over there at first base.
Frazier may have injured himself as he was either running the ball down or when he got the bag.
Well, when he turns right here, the left foot ends up in the center of the base, and that's definitely where you don't want it. Then he's concentrating on making the catch, and here comes Hosmer right on top of that foot. He just couldn't get himself out of the way, and then Eric did his best job he could, keep from knocking him over, but.
I want to see this play again. This is an error on Rivera. How's that an error on him when he threw it? Frazier had his back to him. It's a base hit, isn't it?
Yeah, it's tough to give it an error on that play right there.
Wow. You might want to write that in pencil and don't push very hard. So get the eraser out. It is an infield single. They've just changed the scoring. So 1 on, 1 out, and now Jeff Francoeur. 0 for 4 tonight, and 0 for his last 10. Down and away, 1 ball, no strikes. Francoeur has flied out 4 times. Lost an extra base hit and an RBI in the 6th inning. Corey Patterson made a running play in the gap. Inside, 2 balls, no strikes. To center. Davis got a late break, but it's hit right to him. Francoeur just hit it too hard. Davis, and he's looking over at Patterson right now, pointing to his eyes as if he didn't see it right away. And he's lucky because that ball wasn't hit right at him. This game might be over.
Right, he stood there a little while before he recognized. You can kind of watch how long it took him to react. The ball was almost to him. Exactly right. You're right, Ryan. Any 20 feet either way, he had no chance of making that play.
He's saying, did you see that? Because I didn't. Sometimes it can be something like 1 or 2 fans sitting next to one another behind home plate with white T-shirts on, and you just don't see the ball after the hitter makes contact.
I know at second base in day games, you used to hate when someone's watch, the sun hits the watch the wrong way, and you get that constant glare. There's always something that's in your way. You just have to try to work yourself around it.
Last time the Royals won a game on this homestand, Billy Butler ended the game with a home run. A little bit inside, ball 1. 0 for 3 tonight. He has been on base with a walk. 2-0.
Now this is a flashback here to Billy's walk-off 2-run homer. This is when you wasn't sure right away if it was a home run, but it ended up being a home run, and Billy's getting this beat down.
A 2-minute, 39-second home run trot.
Well, I think we'll take that tonight.
Change up, and he was going for it all.
We saw a lot of intent on that swing. Usually you don't see Billy swing that hard.
Frazier is not big, listed at 5'10", but he's got a big arm. And because of his lack of size, on his draft day, he wasn't taken till the 33rd round. 3 balls, 1 strike. So a 33rd round draft pick, and this is his 8th year in the big leagues. Mike Aviles will follow Billy Butler. Billy walks. So the winning run is at second base. And Mike Aviles, who put an end to an 0 for 12 with a triple in the 4th inning and driving in a run, has a chance to win it. John Farrell has watched his pitching staff walk 7 tonight. None of those walks have come around to score, but 1 walk with the bases loaded forced in a run.
Yeah, Mike's been on the fastball tonight. If he hits him a fastball, the way he swung the bat tonight, you can expect him to square it up.
Inside. Way inside. Got the call. 1-1. Well, Fox Tracks agrees, and if you wanted to judge Ron Kolpa's zone tonight, he is more inclined to call the low strike than he is the high strike.
Hey, Mike is more of a high fastball hitter than a low fastball hitter.
Grounded to Escobar. He'll flip to second. We will go to the 11th inning. Extra innings are presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky all season long. Jack Link's Beef Jerky, feed your wild side. This is extra inning game number 13 for the Royals. Joakim Soria stays on for a second inning. Phase 4 in the 10th. Only man that reached was on an error committed by Alcides Escobar. JP, Aaron Sebia, Aaron Hill, Rajai Davis in the 11th inning. Aaron Sebia 1 for 4 with a single in the 7th. Popped up. Mike Aviles jogs across the line and makes the play. And now Aaron Hill against Aaron Crow in the 9th inning. Aaron Hill led off with a single with 1 out. Edwin Encarnacion walked. So 2 on, 1 out. And then Yunel Escobar grounded into a double play. Aaron Hill 1 out of 3 with an RBI tonight. One and one. Royals are 6-6 in extra inning games. 2-1. We're still 21 games away from the midway point, but the Royals are well on their way if they stay at this pace for a team record for extra inning games in a season. Hosmer is going to run out of room. It's 3 rows back. Royals played 22 extra inning games in 1970. And this is number 13 tonight in game number 60. So 22% of the Royals games this year have gone past 9 innings. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Aaron Hill. So a little better than 1 out of 5 games going extra innings.
What do you credit pitching for that? Pitching on both sides, lack of clutch hitting.
Hill flies out to Alex Gordon, and there's 2 down in the 11th. What do you think?
I think it's both of them. I think it's pitching for one. You just don't see the high averages with runners in scoring position as you normally would see those. And you look at a lot of batting averages this year. A lot of averages are down. A lot of RBIs from some of the guys that are normally up or down. So you have to credit pitching for the most part with why these games stay so close. And late inning relief pitching has got to take a role in that also.
Rajai Davis 0 for 4. Oh, 2. You know, hitters in his last few outings are taking swings at his fastball the way I remember. Just not getting good swings. They're late. The radar gun still says 92, 93 miles an hour. Chris just made that catch. Nice play, Chris. There's the rainbow at 67 miles an hour.
Well, you can see he's starting to feel a little more comfortable. He's able to throw those pitches, and he's been able to throw them because he's been ahead of the hitters.
Goes with a slider. It's grounded to Aviles. 2 more scoreless innings for Joakim Soria tonight. We go to the bottom of the 11th. faced 7 in 2 innings, only one-man reads. That was on an error, and now it's Frank Francisco. And the Royals half of the 11th inning with Chris Getz, Brian Pena, and Alcides Escobar. This is the Blue Jays' 7th pitcher tonight. Six innings from Brandon Morrow. Gave up an unearned run. Sean Camp gave up 1 run in 1 inning. Mark Zepchinski faced 3, walked 3. That forced in the run charge to Camp. Octavio Dotel, 1 1/3 inning. Casey Jansen, 1 inning. Jason Frazier, 1 inning. And now Francisco. Chris Getz 0 for 4 and 0 for his last 13. Oh and 1. Getz laying down a bunt. Francisco is on it, stumbling, not in time. So the winning run at first, and very good speed at first base. And now Brian Pena, he'll be batting for the first time. Took over on defense in the top of the 10th. Matt Traynor started behind the plate. Mitch Meyer batted for him in the 9th. A reunion between two best friends, Brian Pena and Yunel Escobar. Friends since they were kids in Cuba. Both defecting to the United States, both signing first with the Braves. And Brian trying to lay down a bunt, he missed.
Well, he stabbed at it. The way he stabs at it, if he bunts it, he's going to probably bunt it a little bit too hard. He's got to get it out toward the end of the bat and just get it out on the grass. You know, Getz reads this, and that's the toughest one. When you bunt through a ball, you got to really fight not to take that extra step toward the next base and get back to the base you come from. I mean, McCoy's all over this bunt if it goes to third base. So if he can get it to first base, he's got a better chance.
And now 0-2. O'Brien thought that pitch was going to be high and away and started to pull the bat back, and it was a breaking ball in for a strike.
Now this is when you really find out about a lot of your guys on your ball club, because this is what you call crunch time, game winning time. So the guys that can get the sacrifice bunts down, guys that can get the sac fly, drive in runs late in the game. You know, that's when that tells you a lot about your players in games like these.
Getz runs, Pena lines it foul. Brian defected from Cuba in 1999. Maybe you read the great story in the Kansas City Star, Brady McCullough, a couple of weeks ago. It was about Brian Pena, but it talked about Brian's friendship with Yunel Escobar and how they didn't speak for several years because Brian was away from Cuba in the United States. And it wasn't until 5 years later when Escobar defected. They grew up as Braves fans, and they dreamed of one day playing for the Atlanta Braves in a tournament with the Cuban junior national team. They were able to catch the Braves on the old Superstation. And sure enough, they both were able to get out of Cuba. They both signed with the Braves, and they both got to the big leagues with the Braves.
A great story.
If you want to look it up, that story was on May the 21st. Ground ball past Escobar and into left field. So Pena comes back after not getting the bunt down. And now most likely it will be Alcides Escobar's job to get a bunt down.
Well, just a good job of hitting right here. Just not trying to do too much. And he got the hole between short and third. He knew right away he had himself a base hit just by his reaction. I didn't get this bunt down, but I came through for the ball club.
Brian had a look on his face, even though he did better than a bunt. He had a look as if he was still mad at himself that he didn't get the bunt down. Yeah, I got a base hit, but that's not what I was asked to do.
Well, because that situation will come up again, and the more times you're successful, the more confidence you get. But you didn't get it done this time, then you're gonna get another opportunity. It doesn't always result in a base hit.
And now Escobar doesn't get the bunt down. Now he has 5 sacrifice bunts this year.
That's one of those things, Ryan, where you can leave tonight and say, man, I got a base hit, but you will be back in that situation again. And the situation is going to be just as important, and you're going to have to get that bunt down at some point.
Escobar batted only .235 for the Brewers last year, but he did have 4 game-winning RBIs. Right now, he's trying to set up a game-winning RBI with a bunt. And he gets it down. Tough play, Francisco. Bare hand. Just got him at first base. So Escobar gets the job done. And now the winning run is at third base. And what will the Blue Jays do with Alex Gordon?
Well, they pretty much, I would think they'd probably walk him right here and just try to set up a force out everywhere.
And that's exactly what they'll do. It's intentional, but still, it is the 8th walk allowed by the Blue Jays. So Melky Cabrera, who already has 2 walk-off hits for the Royals this year, will try and make it 3.
Francisco, he's been tested on the mound tonight. Chris Getz dragged bunt, and he got to it, but he just couldn't get his feet under him, and then he bounces off on that sacrifice bunt, makes a nice play.
Bunt single, a single after Brian Pena couldn't get the bunt down. A successful sacrifice bunt and now an intentional walk, and that sets the stage for Melky Cabrera. 2 walks for him and a single, 1 out of 3. Infield in, outfield in. After the first pitch, caught at third base by McCoy.
What a play. I mean, you had no reaction time on this line drive. And he just dove to his left, the ball was in his glove. I mean, just look at this play here. Oh, man. When that ball was hit, I had no doubt this ball was in the outfield.
And remember, McCoy just went into the game. Came on as a pinch runner in the 9th inning, so this is just 2nd inning on defense tonight.
I mean, this ball's by him when he catches this ball. I mean, this is just great reaction time.
And Melky just stood stunned outside of the batter's box. He thought he had won the game. Hosmer, center field, he wins the game. Will pound on their rookie as Hosmer continues to pound the baseball. 2 RBIs tonight, and the Royals snap a 4-game losing streak, winning 3-2 in 11 innings. it was Hosmer showing great patience at the plate in the 7th inning when he walked on 4 pitches to force in the game-tying run, and now he wins it in the bottom of the 11th. 9 RBIs for Hosmer on the homestand, and he's with Joel.
All right, Ryan, thank you very much. You're right. It's been a very good homestand for Eric Hosmer, but it's been a rough few days for the team. So first off, just how important to be able to get past the rough weekend?
That was big. Paulino came out and threw a great game for us today, and, we hung in there to the end and came out with a big hit at the end to win it.
All right, take us through the at-bat there and what you saw as you're able to send that ball to right field.
I just wanted to see a good pitch, just looking in one zone, and, he threw.
I saw that one coming for a while. Sorry, Haas. But Alcides Escobar had his look. Actually, he had to pour a bunch of that into the bucket just to get it done, and now he's jumping up and down with his hands in the air. That stuff, well, good thing you got good cleaning in there. All right, chance to celebrate the walk-off here. Take us through that at-bat again. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, just looking in one zone, it's a great pitcher, and, we got to get a big hit there to get a victory, and, I thought Melky ended it the pitch before. The guy smoked it, the guy made a nice catch, but, this is a great win for us.
The walk-offs, I know it never gets old, but you guys are making a habit of this, and obviously, again, a rough weekend, but how about the walk-off ability of this team?
That just shows the heart of this team. We never fight, and, the fans are still here sticking it out with us, and we appreciate that, and, we want to keep this streak rolling.
Oh, boy. Billy missed. Billy just flat out missed. There you go. He'll take that. Billy missed, and I was going to try not to give that away, but he was so awkward coming in that I couldn't really sell it for him. That's just water. Billy, you got to work on that a little bit. Can you believe this is draft day? 3 years ago, you're sitting there with your family, and now here you are in the big leagues.
I know. And 3 years today, my family's still sitting right up there, and it's my mom loves Kansas City, and she loves all you guys, and again, thank you for having us, and it's been awesome.
On that note, we'll let you go. Eric, good job tonight.
Thank you.
All right, that is Eric Hosmer winning it. He gets the Gatorade shower on the walk-off and then the miss from Billy. Guys, let's go back upstairs to you.
All right, thank you, Joel. Well, several highlights tonight. The biggest highlight, Eric Hosmer winning the game with 2 outs in the bottom of the 11th inning. The Royals in the 4-game losing streak in style.
They needed this win. They hung in there long enough, and they got it tonight.
And then smothered by his teammates, doused in Gatorade. Got a drop or two on his shoes from Billy Butler. We'll be right back.